Welcome, my friends and enemies. Glad you were here. We have a fun, hopefully fun video for you today. Doing some trailer reveals. I am joined with my usuals plus one. We got Matt. How you doing, buddy?
Doing okay. How you all doing today?
I could be better. Sage, how you doing, buddy? You are muted.
Yeah, I'm alive. I guess that's good.
You are.
What more could I ask for?
The EU is graciously allowing Sage to visit us today.
Indeed.
Yeah, turn you down a little bit. Holy cow, that was loud. How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing good.
Your home area,
Yeah.
town. I don't want to say hometown because I don't know if that's where you're actually from. But yeah, we got. I lost track. How many of these is there? Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 plus 1 trailers. This should hopefully go fast because some of them are really short. But you know how they are. So, that being said, are ye gents ready to check this out? We have a bonus one at the very, very end. That is your plus 1, so I guess we'll go up. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's 2. Matt, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Which is never. Got it.
Never!
Never say never, guys. Oh, I gotta do this on the other end too. There we go. Now we're cooking. I am partially retarded, so we'll go ahead and do this.
Up the ladder! Hurry!
Oh no.
Nice stun lock.
What do you say?
I said nice stun lock.
You mean nice Nuzlocke. So that was the gameplay as opposed to just the trailer, which has some nice story stuff, but it has kind of like a Borderlands shading style, I guess.
So what's the storyline this game's supposed to be based on?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's supposed to be based on anything in particular. It's just guy who's like the first berserker and he's like backstabbed or something, and then he's just, I guess, finding out the truth, basic storylines.
Well, is this like an its own world game, or is it supposed to be based in lore, or what?
As far as I'm aware, it's one of a kind. So it's probably its own universe. And I mean, there's the actual trailer you can look at.
Well, it's not supposed to be like in the real world in like the Dark Ages or whatever, right?
Not that I'm aware of. No, it's just it's a fantasy world. Let's see, what else do we have? That was one. What did you guys think on that one?
Hard to say, really.
I mean, usually it's easy to say. It's just words. You open your mouth.
Yeah, okay. It's I'm not sure. It looks okay, I guess, but I have no idea what was going on exactly, other than two people fighting, someone mashing buttons, probably.
Well, I think it's an IGN.
I'm not sure what the gameplay is, other than it seems vaguely Dark
literally
Souls.
was the gameplay.
Yeah, but I don't know what you do. Do you have like combos that you need to do? Is it just left button mash?
Well, you're not going to be able to tell that from a gameplay perspective. You have to watch.
So is this just a fighting game, or is it an adventure type game, or?
I think they said it was similar to like a Devil May Cry kind of game.
Oh,
but like in a
that's what it seems like. It looks like it has a lot of emphasis on what's it called, deflecting,
parrying.
Mm-hmm.
Now
they showed more of that, but
well, you have. Well, I half the time I couldn't tell if it was a successful parry if he just got hit. I couldn't tell because it's
yeah, exactly. There's no health bar, so it's hard to say what exactly is going on.
It reminds me of things like Stellar Blade, Elden Ring, like the typical Dark Souls. It even reminded me a little bit about what's it called? What's it called?
I don't know, but it does have the typical action.
Dogma game. I can't believe I'm brain farting. I have a stupid copy over there. What's
Dragon's Dogma?
Which one?
Dragon's Dogma or what?
Thank you. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma. Kind of reminds me of the combat system of that a little bit. But I feel like a lot of these games coming out are all just like Dark Souls copies, and they just have a very similar gameplay. Like I feel like after playing a ton of Stellar Blade, all these other games, I'm like, these all seem very similar, where it's mostly boss fights. There's not a whole lot of there is outside world stuff, like you're walking around, you got to fight some things here and there, but like the boss fights are the focus and the go-to. And I don't know how I feel about that, because like boss fights should be special and kind of rare. Like imagine playing Diablo 2 or Diablo 1, like the originals, and then you're basically just fighting bosses nonstop. Like would that be any fun? I don't feel like it would be.
Well,
basically it would be like Dark Souls, but without all the area mobs.
Yeah, but Dark Souls also has really crappy mechanics in terms of how everything works. It's they could refine it a bit more, but nowadays I feel like you just need to go with the AI route, where like the AI generates worlds, but it also generates the boss's movements, because like not Elder Scrolls, the Elden Ring and Dark Souls games have this thing where bosses just swing, 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 pause for a millisecond, swing, 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 swing. I'm like, that's
right,
not
but
really
that's specifically only Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring.
well, I mean,
Yeah, because
they just go so often and so hard on the attack that you can't get the attack in, and you can't stun them because they're like some champion or legendary tier, so you can't like really do anything. So it's like you either take a lot of damage from something or you just die. Like you're not going to get in there because it just like I'd rather have mechanics like there's poles around the outside of the building or the outside of the arena, and if you hit the pole, something in the middle pops up and knocks them and stuns them for 5 seconds. You have a chance to go up and like whap on them a little bit. Just like mechanics are more fun than just comboing the boss. Like that, I don't find comboing boss pretty particular fun. But the game does look interesting because of the art style. I do like the art style.
I guess the only thing comparable to this would probably be what like Sekiro, where you would have to build up their meter to where they get stunned.
Yeah, you mean like a crowd control meter or something?
Yeah, because like, that's what it seems like it looks like. You have to build it up or something and get the big stun on them. That way you can take a big hit.
Yeah, and maybe that's the way the game is. But even if that's the case, like this one, at least you could get hits in. That was nice because my problem with like Elden Ring, and I know there's other people that get good scrub, whatever. My problem is just I want to be able to have fun by fighting a boss, not waiting for the boss to let me hit him. And I would argue the parrying system in Elden Ring is trash. It's just
you have to get really precise.
Well, there's that, but
it,
it's like you can't parry with just anything. You have to have, I think, a shield or something like the parry inscription or whatever on it. And I'm just like, when like Valheim has a really nice parrying system. You could always take that system and just shrink the window a little bit more because the window's really nice. Like it's you have to hit it perfectly to just parry all the time. But the whole point is that bosses typically have like you should be able to parry grunts all the time. But bosses are supposed to have some hits you can parry and some hits you can't parry. You can't dodge them. Like that's the way Stellar Blade was, is that you had some that you could like do an action.
True, but you don't want to end up like with Dark Souls 1, the final boss. If you parry that one, it's basically well, as easy as the first one, I guess.
Well, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. You give the bosses like similar move looking types, but then you make one of them like in Stellar Blade. They had like a gold sheen, and that gold sheen meant you can't dodge it, you can't do anything. You just have to hope you're out of range, or get the frick out of dodge really quick. And Elden Ring, you're like, well, if you jump, your legs are immune to damage, or if you dodge roll, you just have that blink.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest problem that is with the DLC that they brought out. People do not like the final Radon fight.
Well,
like it's just unenjoyable.
They made it unenjoyable by literally just making the boss attack nonstop, and it's like, part of the menace is the stopping, be like taunting you to come to them, kind of a thing. That's part of the menace and the enticement of a boss. So why not just give somebody that enticement, create that tension? Don't be just like, well, if I just go over and I slap him with my sword or my bow or my magic a couple hundred times, then I win. Because nobody wants just a health sink. Nobody wants a meat shield boss where all you have to do is just get, hey, if you do 3 million damage to this guy, you'll kill him. It's like, I want to be a little bit more exciting than that because I can do that to anybody.
Yeah, you remember there was that one weapon, the Rolling Sparks, the new perfume bottle weapons. Like that one move would, if you shot it to the ground right at his feet, would do thousands and thousands of damage to it. And some dude two-shotted that final boss.
Damn.
I'd probably go that route personally because I wouldn't want to put up with it.
But sadly, they nerfed that.
Well, yeah, there's always ways around it.
They nerfed it.
But things like I've been playing a lot of the First Descendant. The First Descendant has like characters are certain attribute, like they're frost, they're electric, they're fire. You know what? They're even, as we call them, normals in Pokemon. They don't have any attributes, and depending on who you're fighting, they have strengths and weaknesses against those types, which should also increase the difficulty without having to increase the health bar. That's a cool way you could possibly do it, but they're not probably going to do that. But that's just an idea of that kind of a thing that you could easily make a fun, engaging boss fight without having to like do too much about it.
Yeah, a lot of video games go into that route of giving like a boss is weak to this attribute and stuff like that. So who knows what they'll do with Berserk?
Yeah, there's. I mean, that particular one, I have no idea.
I'll probably try it out, see if it's fun. Well, I'll see some reviews, and then I'll see if it's if I
There's
can
like a
have fun.
25-minute gameplay if you want to like watch that, and like I think the devs were talking about it. I just like we're not gonna watch that for 25 minutes. Sorry,
Yeah.
but no, sorry. All right, you guys ready for the next one?
Yep.
Sure.
So there's two of these. This is going to be just kind of the reveal trailer, and then there's going to be kind of a gameplay trailer. So, we'll go ahead and see what it's got going on.
What if I told you there was a connection between ancient cultures around the world? A great circle. Does it exist? Is it the key to some lost power? That's up to you to uncover. I'm Troy Baker, and I play Indy. It's humbling playing a character that so many people, myself included, look up to. As a kid, seeing Indiana Jones in the theater for the first time was a defining moment for me. And I never would have guessed that all these years later, I would be the one wearing the hat. But here I am. It's been a dream come true. A dream that I cannot wait for you to live for yourselves. The beauty of a first-person game like this is that we all get to feel what it's like to become Indy. You are the one who cracks the whip, who feels the weight of every punch and the thrill of finding every clue. Indy is such a unique character. A professor, an archaeologist, a brawler, an explorer, the quintessential all-around adventure. And this game has everything you'd expect from an Indiana Jones adventure. Mysterious artifacts, cunning villains, ancient discoveries, hard-hitting action. It's a world of constant danger where you've got to think on your feet to stay alive. The Great Circle spans the entire globe, from snake-filled jungle temples to scorpion-riddled desert tombs. Stunning open areas to explore freely, full of secrets for you to discover. And you'll get more than just the classic whip and revolver. Indy's journal and his camera will immerse you in the mystery, providing extra info on all of your finds so you can appreciate all of the little historical details he obsesses over. And those details are your key to solving the ancient puzzles that hold the secrets hereafter. But ancient secrets don't come easy. It's best to have an exit strategy. This is an incredible new way to experience Indiana Jones, and I can't wait for you to play it. Hold on to your hat.
Now,
It actually looks reasonably okay from that trailer.
I kept waiting for something woke to happen.
yeah,
Well, they didn't put that one chick that they had in the first few trailers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that chick, so I can't tell. But even if there's a chick, I mean, normally Indy has a girl around, so that
Well,
doesn't.
she had a side shaped haircut, I think.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's super common at that time. That doesn't stand out at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, what did you guys think specifically off of that, or?
Specifically off of that, I thought, yeah, looks good. I might want to play that, but I have more info than just this, so
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
I'll
You have
wait.
Concept looks
Now-
interesting.
I have heard people say multiple things about first person versus third person. Some people want first person and third person, which I personally agree with. I think you should have more options than just, we're going to make you third person or we're going to make you first person. I think you should be able to do both. Like,
Yeah.
that's the better option. It's more work to make it both, but I mean, if you're making the model already. But I did like that they had like the shading thing like they did in the movies, like the hiding behind the crates and the light hits their eyes, but like it's dark everywhere else kind of a thing. I don't know if you guys remember that from the movies, but that was a cool little feature. I thought was a nice touch. I think the character design actually looks like Indy, as best as they can get him, obviously. Some people were talking about whether or not Harrison Ford should be coming in to do the voice acting, and I'm like,
No. He's too old for it.
He's too old to have a younger Harrison Ford voice. Like
You guys need,
Yeah.
The thing is, you need to understand, Harrison Ford didn't really care about the character of Indiana Jones. He just likes making money off of it.
He
hates
doesn't
the
care about
sequels.
any characters, really.
You know, the reason he died off in like both Star Wars and New Hope and 5 is he wanted to be killed off, right? And he did.
Well, they didn't kill him in 5.
Sort of.
They made him. Well, he died inside, yeah, but he didn't die.
He died inside.
Yeah.
But like, they could have used the AI or something. But apparently, I guess the guy's name is Troy Baker or something. Apparently, he's a really good voice actor. And yes,
People are starting to not like him.
I don't know him from anything, but I think he was in what was the recent game he was in? I can't remember what game it was supposed to be, but apparently he's a very good method actor, voice actor, because he's like actually doing the motions and stuff to like mocap it. But I think he did a pretty decent job, all things considered, or what he had available to him. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna hold it against him. I don't know why people would not like him. I don't know very much about him, let alone to like or not like. So
yeah, it's more like what he says, other than him just doing his work.
Oh, you mean his blabbing his mouth on X?
Yeah, a bit of that. But
well,
yeah, he does. He can do some pretty good work.
He's in Hollywood. He's an idiot by nature. What did you expect?
90% of celebrities and artists and whatever writers, they're all these leftist loons, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also because like he's in a lot of stuff that people are like, oh, why can't you give somebody else a try?
Oh, so he's
people
Pascal of video games.
Yeah. I mean, he was Joel. He was the voice of Joel, Troy Baker.
Well, I'm not worried about that because I'm not going to play that. So
yeah, or watch it.
I mean, the first one.
Well, I have the first one, but I have no intention to play it because if I'm going to play it, I want to play another one, and another one's the bad one. So it's like, why start a franchise that you know ends bad? It's like, why watch Game of Thrones when you know it's going to end horribly? Like, you're not.
I haven't watched Game of Thrones, so I don't have.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's like if I said, "Hey, season 8's trash. It's going to end horribly. You're going to be unsatisfied. You're going to hate how it goes. You should start watching it." You'd be like, "I'll play it."
I would say it's look at this. So Game of Thrones is not a great adaptation of the books. I just keep saying that to people over and over again. Mm-hmm. They have great character acting.
I mean, I guess some of the seasons are relatively okay.
The first 4 seasons are pretty okay.
I said the TV show was a soap opera.
It starts to deviate.
The books are a soap opera, let's be honest.
The books aren't a soap opera. The books are like a grim, dark fantasy.
Well, it's a grim, dark soap opera. It's the same thing. Yeah. But, I mean, regardless, the point is that if you're gonna start something, but you know it's gonna be bad, like Jujutsu Kaisen's ending, like really abruptly, everyone's upset about it. I don't know what the big deal is because I was told like it was overhyped.
Did its ending leak?
Apparently, he's doing 5 more chapters and it's done.
Well,
that's what I've heard. That it's just 5 more chapters
already. Like
it's supposed to be allegedly a lot more, but apparently something came up and he's not gonna make it anymore.
Yeah, I bet because he spent so much time like just freaking just jerking freaking Sukuna off because he likes him so much.
Well, look, I mean, manga writers are like almost enslaved over there. I mean, that's why why Kishimoto compressed all this into his books from the war.
He's hardly done anything that I can tell. Like, I mean, the books, there's a decent amount of books and stuff, but I mean, writing wise, is he the artist too, or is he just the writer?
No, what happened? I think is like these manga writers, they have to sign up with like Shonen Jump or wherever else it is over there, and they put their story out right that they want to do. And then it starts with like, well, we want you to change this bit or this bit, and they keep dictating terms in the story, and eventually, X number of chapters in, the story isn't what they wanted to tell, so they start like quitting or rebelling. Like Kubo from Bleach famously or infamously stopped drawing backgrounds in all of the panels, like for a while, you know. Well, and that's why Kishimoto smashed everything and ended in the 4th Shinobi War because he hated the changes they made to the story. He didn't want to follow through with some of them, you know, and you know, so forth. And like, you can go on and read about these manga writers. Like, and yes, if you're doing work for hire, you got to do that, right? But on the other hand, then don't do the work for hire. It's a I understand both
Make
sides.
make your own thing, and then be like, "Hey, I was going to publish this. Do you want to do it, or somebody else can do it for me?"
Yeah.
And then, go that route. But I mean, I kind of see it from both ends because you can get burned from both ends.
Mm-hmm.
You can burn yourself out, or somebody else can burn you out. It feels, at least like from the anime perspective, there's only 2 seasons. It's not that long, but from the manga section, I believe there's 20 to 30 manga volumes, something like that.
For what?
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, there's like about. I don't think it's past 300 chapters, right?
I'll
I
look
don't
it
know.
up.
I didn't read the mangas, but I was not particularly impressed with it, so I don't really know what the big deal is. Like, everyone's like, "Oh wow, this is such a great." Everyone was hyping it. I watched the first season. I'm like, any day now.
It's all the white hair guy fan people.
Gojo?
I
mean,
Gojo.
Gojo, yeah.
Yeah, Gojo's an interesting
It's all the
character,
fanboys. They
but
like
we
it.
don't see him do anything. They don't freaking make him do anything. He just kind of is, "Oh no, I'm here. I'm kind of lazy. I'm off doing business." And then I come
Well,
home.
no, like they had at first they had him distracted to keep him away from the school.
Yeah.
Then once he finally got there, he wrecked house.
He's
He turned the tables completely.
He didn't do a whole lot. I mean, let's be honest. There was very little.
I mean, that's the thing. Well, he doesn't want to. Well, it would be very bad. Well, he probably does hold back to see how the students do. He doesn't want to baby them.
Well, yes,
and they won't grow if he babies them.
I get that, but they won't grow either if the.
Okay, so
they will
the
die.
context of his story.
Well, he'll pop in before they die, hopefully. But
no, he's not there.
Like, his power has a sort of side effect that makes it worse for him. I don't remember the whole gimmick of it. Like, so when he uses his full power, like something. Oh, how do they explain it? I don't remember. To be honest, it's not that important. He's absurdly overpowered for most of what they encounter. And then, so what they do when the villains come along who he's not overpowered with, then he fights them or whatever. But then the other villains, like, they banished him for a while,
Yeah.
Like, it's.
And that's when people started dying.
Yeah. So, like it's like, trying to think of a good example from another story. It's like when it's like, well, I keep going back to Naruto. It's like if Jiraiya had been there since on the wave mission. You know what I mean? It's like, Zabuza would have just ran the other way. It's like you can't, or if in I don't know, if instead of in Bleach, if instead of Byakuya showing up, Rukia, Old Man Genocide himself showed up for her. But the whole thing is just way over. You know what I mean? Like they're so, and now of course they're ending it, and people are complaining about how the storyline went, and whatnot, and that seems to happen when I can't think of a manga where it starts off well, the story morphs, and you hear that the Shonen Jump, whoever wants them to change the story, then the creator sort of sabotages it into the ground to end it, So
I think that whole fight's just been going on for way too long for it to not
Dragon Ball Z
show his backstory.
Yeah,
it's not even like Dragon Ball Z. There's actual fighting happening. There's people being hurt. There's people dying.
It's the same event, but it's like 40 episodes long.
Yeah, and literally we haven't seen his backstory of Sukuna, which has been hinted at, what was he before he became the King of Curses. There aren't any endings to some of the other people. We don't know what's gonna happen to Megami.
We care more about Sukuna and Gojo than we do about the main character.
The main character just seems like he's like a nephew of Sukuna's, because supposedly Sukuna's twin that he killed in the womb of their mother was reincarnated as Yuji's dad.
What?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
my anime thing.
I get that, but I'm saying, I don't understand what the hype was, because it feels like a very mediocre series to me. It doesn't.
I don't think it's very mediocre. I think it's entertaining.
Rather well animated, I'd say.
Well, I think it's well animated, but I would say the story didn't really grab me because they focus so heavily on the villains when the villains weren't really doing anything except causing mayhem, and that was it. And I was like, okay, is there a training arc? Well, it kind of blips. They're like, hey, go watch some movies and keep this guy from punching you. That's literally it. Like that's the training arc. And you're like, okay.
I think that's the thing where he had very high potential is the thing with him. Kind of like I guess what you would say with Bleach with Ichigo. He has all those different parts of him from different creatures and species that he has high potential. It's not about him training hard to get. It's just him unlocking gates that are like keeping him from.
I get the natural talent thing, but my point is that it never shows us. Like we get more about the Black Flash or what it's called.
Right.
You get more about that in like a single episode where the other guy, I forget his name, the big bulky
guy.
Best friend, that guy.
Dang it all. He's such a good fun character.
He is a funny character, but like he teaches him that, and we actually see it. And I'm like, hey, I can actually see some training on this, and he's having him train against him, and at the point where he just starts popping off 1 after 2 after 3 after 4 after 5. They're like, I think my highest is 4, and he's like 6, a 7, 8, a 9. I'm just like, you nailed it down. So it's that makes sense for unlocking potential, but like we don't see him learn new stuff very often. And then by the time all this is going on, I'm like halfway through the second season, he hasn't learned anything but the Black Flash. That's it. I'm like, you got to have something else. If you're limited to being able to do that so many times a day, you got to learn something. Or
I think, yeah.
And then they're introducing a whole bunch of other characters, and all those other characters aren't really showing what they can do. Like the old man turning out to be like a metalhead was just freaking weird. But
I think it was supposedly said that he was like almost basically on par with Gojo because of like just from him being like training so much with his ability. But yeah, we haven't seen anything much of him.
I'm just looking at them as just like, this just seems like a Death Clock. Like he is Death Clock.
Well, that's a phenomenon in a lot of manga where all the other characters that are introduced are really like just like there to stretch the story out without adding anything original, you know. Interesting.
I mean, Gege literally said he doesn't like a lot of his characters his own characters that he's made. He likes Sukuna the most, and he's given Sukuna a lot in just fighting.
Sukuna is more interesting than most of the other characters because we don't.
And I think that
don't know his motives, but when he pops out, he's very helpful, but not helpful. Like when whatever the Stitch
he doesn't have real motives. He just does whatever he wants because he feels like it. That's kind of his MO.
In the anime, he makes that pact with the kid, right? But you don't hear what it says. Maybe in the manga it tells you or something. I don't know. But
yes, it does.
You don't know what it is because like he leads you on to think this is what it's going to be, but then he like catches him and then he like makes him do a thing. And then that's what activates a whole bunch of other things. But he's like a dick because he eats the fingers when he's not supposed to eat it. And he's doing all this kind of stuff. He's like, ha, 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 I'm getting in the way. But at the same time, when the Stitch guy is like trying to like do his encapsule thingy, whatever it's called, the dimension thing. And
during the Shibuya thing,
the domain expansion, he tries to do that. And he's like, oh, I told you not to do that. And then he just like obliterates him. It's like, that's cool. Because he's like, he's not helping, but he's not hurting. So we're not really sure what's going on. What is this any decent? But I have yet to see him actually do the whole like, hey, you say this thing, and I come out for like 30 seconds or whatever the time frame was. And I was just
he doesn't want to do that at all. He doesn't want to be very helpful to Yuji at all. Is the thing. He doesn't want to help Yuji in any useful way.
But he made the pact saying that he would do that if that's the thing, and that's the alleged pact. But I don't know.
He made that pact because he wants to sort of take over the body and get his fingers back and whatever. Like not he actually wants to help the kid or anything. Yeah. So I
think he only said he'll stay in the body as he'll just stay in the body until he gets all of his fingers.
Yeah, well,
that's what he said.
Either way, he's an interesting character that they did not use enough of, at least from the anime perspective. Gojo is supposedly an interesting character. He's a lot of people's favorite characters. but we get like nothing of him. And
It's his backstory that where he regrets not
that's my
killing, not
with Jujutsu Kaisen. It's like too much flashback backstory and not enough happening in the main like the current time. It just irritates me.
Maybe if they would have started with Zero and then the backstory, then Zero, maybe that would have probably set the table a bit better. But he came up with it after.
Well, like when you're in the middle, is it the second season when you're in the middle of that fight, and all of a sudden they keep switching to the backstory for whole episodes. I'm trying to remember the sequence. For a while since I watched it.
It was annoying.
Like it just gets it takes you out of what's going on with the current characters, and like, oh, here's a backstory again. It's like instead of like you're getting into the storyline of how they're fighting and who's gonna die and live and whatever, and then jump back to a backstory for an episode or two. It's like,
oh man, yeah. If I don't remember if it was an episode or two, but yeah, if they do it like Demon Slayer, where they just give right before the demon's death, it's the very kind of not very compelling backstory. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be very good.
Well, the thing is, even whether it's a compelling backstory or not, when you're telling a story, right, whether video game, movie, whatever, and your audience is getting into it, they're suspending disbelief, they're following along, then all of a sudden you just take them out of it and go do something else. The audience is like, why was I into this at all? I mean, that's literally why people do fan edits of these anime where they re-edit all the flashbacks out until like actually put them first. You know what I mean? Like you can find tons of anime that have the flashback-itis, as I like to think of it, where the fan will do fan edits of them, and the fan edits have all the flashbacks in a proper sequence. Then you just get to the actual main story, like 20 fan edits or whatever.
I don't know if that's just an East versus West thing. Like in the East, they prefer it that way. In the West, they have a different way they prefer it.
It's probably that. I mean, yeah, it's probably just a preference.
You have anime and manga that don't do flashback eyes, like Dragon Ball Z, for example.
Yeah, but manga also has more time to tell more stories. There's a lot more volumes.
Or Astro Boy or Fist of the North. I can name tons of anime or manga that never do that flashback eyes. You get maybe a 5-minute flashback or whatever, but not just story arcs in the middle of all the story arcs.
Yeah, it's probably just a preference of whatever, but they also want, sometimes it's an emotional impact. Sometimes it's like, here's how they got, like, here's the training they did to make this a powerful ability happen or blah, 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 blah. Like it's a lot of different things, but either way, let's continue with trailers. Since I
have 25 minutes and I got a hard stop for prep.
All right. Well, we'll try to get through as many of these as we can.
Yeah, but all in all, I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen is going to end well, especially just 5.
It's not if you
kind of suck.
If you chop it off, no, it never ends well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go.
Let me tell you what you are missing, Dr. Jones. While you were playing your pointless game, I was playing you. You're wondering if maybe you should have built yourself a life of meaning instead of ending up here, dead and forgotten in the sense of Africa.
That's not reassuring.
Myths. History. Just different ways to interpret the past.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Thousands of years of humanity's thoughts and beliefs, scattered and buried. Just waiting to be found.
You can't just run away from your problems, Indiana.
Watch me. Throughout history, mankind has built sites of great spiritual significance. If you were to draw a line through these ancient sites around the globe, you get a perfectly aligned circle. I've had run-ins with these guys before. Trust me, it ain't a walk in the park.
Okay, then. Let's see if you can keep up.
What do you mean if I could keep up?
Yeah, because that's going to be
Patron of the fallen angels. Protector of the Chukulimani. The Great Circle. You have any idea how old that was?
Oh my. But yes. That is the Indiana Jones. Now, I can
What do you
kind
think of that trailer?
Yeah, like I can see a couple things. Like the hairstyle, I'm pretty sure in the 80s there was a hairstyle that kind of like flopped over. I don't know how close it was shaved here, but I do know that the hair flop over thing was a hairstyle in like the 80s. So
I don't think it was shaved.
it wasn't
don't
shaved
think so
very hard. But well, yeah, but her hair wasn't like to the head. It was like a little bit, and it just kind of flopped over. So a minor detail. I don't think the hair really is a make it or break it for me in that regard. I could see a little bit of potential, like see if you can keep up kind of thing. That could be banter, which is in it, and Jones has a bit of banter, especially between women. So it could be banter, or it could be her being the strong, independent woman who don't need no man kind of a thing. And I think
She isn't built for that.
She is not built for that. But she is. I mean, that's never stopped people from thinking above their station ever. But there's a potential chance that she's the one who like grabs him from falling in and pulls him back, which also seems kind of weird because he weighs like twice what she weighs. So that'd be kind of weird. Yeah. But maybe leverage helps because he's like trying to push himself back at the same time as she's pulling. It could be feasible. It's not. I don't think it's impossible for like someone like Marion or somebody to pull him back if necessary.
Hopefully, she's using all of her weight to pull him back from falling over. Maybe
it looked like one hand pulling back, but
the female character doing that stuff is not what's going to make it woke. It's cucking him while she does it that would make it woke.
Mm-hmm. Which I do like his comeback where he's like, "What do you mean me keep up?" Like that was like, okay, maybe this can be salvaged. And I'm hoping that just the quote unquote woke, I don't want to say it's woke because it could just be bad writing, but that the potential hazards for this game, I'm hoping they're just so tiny that it won't matter. Because Indiana Jones games are fun. And you can get them on like GOG, you can get them on Steam and stuff. But I just want to be able, like, I want to be able to enjoy that kind of a game. But the thing that probably bothers me the most is that there's all these like Nazis and stuff or soldiers that he's fighting, and they're all fisticuffs. I'm like, where is your weapon? You're a freaking soldier. You should be attacking with what you have. So it's rare to see like a guy miss at like point blank range or something, and then him just like that seems a little bit more wonky to me. Like, because most of the time Indiana Jones is in a situation where he's fighting against somebody with swords or arrows or something, and arrows are at a distance; they're not up in his face. Swords are kind of close, but he can kind of dodge them or bob and weave. But you're not gonna be able to do that for a firearm. But the firearms usually it's because like they're about to use them, and then the ground erupts because like a trap's opening up or something, and they're like, oh, they lose their balance or something. That's why he survives situations. But usually, if you have like a whole bunch of guns pointed at him, he just like. He got me, but he finds a way out.
He surrenders for a bit.
Yeah, but he gets stuck, but then he gets out of it, kind of a thing. And that's the kind of thing I'm just like, that seems a little less like I've been drawing me to it. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, walking on top of a plane that's flying and then jumping to a different one, definitely impossible.
But it looks fun.
It looks fun.
The rule of cool, good sir. The rule of cool.
Yeah. It breaks my emotion.
Physics made it on my freaking show. It's ruined everything with physics and reality. It's a fantasy escapism for a reason. Leave me alone. What do you think, Matt?
No, I say I get it. Again, the visual, like the storytelling and all that looks interesting, Indiana Jonesy. But you're always waiting for the other foot to drop, like you were saying with like the female character with the banter. But I think that fits Indiana Jones because the female character do some of that give and take banter, right?
He's always with a spicy woman.
Yes. But so again, the question would be: do they cuck him? And also, assuming that the game is good, by the way. I mean, we have no idea if the game, like objectively speaking, is the gameplay functionality good? Is it the story? Like, is the story with the all the ancient sites in a circle or whatever? I get where they're drawing some of that from.
Fair enough.
Well, I get where they're drawing some of that from. There's a lot more to some of these ancient things, but because they line up with the same astronomical things in the sky just by circumstance. That appears to be the real reason that this sort of thing people notice that stuff. But obviously, the conspiracy theorists run with that and say, well, they're all using telepathy to communicate when they built it or whatever. But like I said, but that could be an interesting story because it's a video game. So we have to see if that story comes across as good and entertaining, or if it's just slapped on so you can get a woke product where Indy gets cucked halfway through the game. And,
Any other thoughts are ready to move?
To me, like the graphics, I remember some people were complaining about how the graphics look out of date. I mean, they don't look that bad.
They haven't how long it takes to make a game, especially that detail. It would take a long time. But
I remember people saying it has PS2 graphics. I'm like, not really. It doesn't have that bad.
PS2 is a bit of a step. Now, I will say that it looks pretty smooth, but I would say the graphics would be a secondary on my list of things to worry about. I'm more interested in the story and the atmosphere of it. And if the atmosphere and the story works out, I'll be happy if the gameplay is also pretty good. Graphics are probably the last thing I'd be like, okay, the graphics. But even if the graphics were slightly bad, if it had everything else going for it, I'd say it's probably pretty good. But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest thing is it's probably going to have bad bugs. It's probably going to be really glitchy.
Well, yeah, it's a Bethesda game. What you expect?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm waiting for the AI Harrison Ford Indiana Jones voiceover mod.
People probably gonna be doing that.
All right, let's jump to the next one. This one will be interesting for Matt.
Arrakis is a test. Few survive it.
Why does he not have
What?
Why does he not have one of those fancy suits that you need in the desert?
He technically does have one, but this is like early gameplay, so I assume.
No, but like the whole arm is exposed.
I know. We'll get there, dude.
Well, maybe you'll probably be able to make it or something. Crap.
No, he'd probably get it from somebody else.
it's
I'll be gone for a bit.
Arrakis is a test. Few
Wait a minute.
survive.
Whoa.
But the humans that do awaken.
Did they just show Fremen flying?
Sorry,
Did they just show Fremen flying?
I'm not sure.
They fly now.
Go back to that little scene there.
Oh,
Like
the-
right when how did they like?
didn't they do that in the movies?
No, that was the
That was on
No.
ropes and stuff. That was the sound of
It looks like
Did-
some tech.
Did it
yeah, I
have,
think that's the thing the Sardaukar or whatever they're called used.
It's probably tech they salvaged from somebody else and used it to drop themselves down
Could be.
without having to take damage.
well, no,
Well,
in the novels, the Fremens have high tech. They just hide it.
Yeah, well, I mean that could be the case as well, but I'm just saying, like, I think that would be used so when they drop to the sand, they're not going to be summoning Shai Lahoud or somebody, because that would suck for you. So that would be my guesstimation. But aside from that, what it could
There
be-
are means by which characters can fly in Dune with anti-gravity devices and whatever. But I'm like, how would this work with Fremen? It doesn't fit. Like I said, that's supposed to be Paul.
that's the thing is, I think it's modeled after Paul, but Paul is
It's,
much thinner and small.
it's the other guy, Bill Maldib.
Well, I think it's because I think it's supposed to be something akin to like a. I don't think this might be is. I thought this was supposed to be like an MMO survival, kind of like Conan Exiles, but for Dune. Because it's Funcom's the same guys who did Conan Exiles.
Mhm.
So I think this is just Conan Exiles, but Dune and Arrakis themed.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, there's not technically a main character, or maybe they have. Excuse me. Maybe they have Paul in this game somewhere, but that he's way too muscular for Paul, and
Yeah.
like all that stuff. But
I have to read up. I mean, it could be interesting if that's Duncan Idaho, who was on Arrakis for quite some time before Paul, the Atreides arrived there. It could be him working with the Fremen. That could be the setting of the game. Like there's a lot of interesting stuff if you want to do an MMO in the story of what happened in the, let's say, 10 years prior to the events of Dune, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of intrigue there. And that could be where they're going. I got to read more about this game because this is one of those, it really is MMO.
it's kind of interesting, but those games die really quick because there's such limitations in the gameplay and what you can do. Like, I like the idea of being able to build what I want to build, gathering unfollowers, yada yada yada. Like, that seems fun, but once you do that, like playing Conan Exiles, it's fun. But then once you get to a part like, I'm going to go over here, and you're just fighting ridiculously hard people, I'm like, okay, once I beat them, then what? Like, what am I surviving? Does it get godlike imperial hardness difficulty or something?
Well, they'd have to
and the Conan Exiles, and then you make it really difficult to play. I don't like what do they do
for this game to not be like that, like a 1 year of gameplay and done type thing. They'd have to set more in the expanded setting, where you're not just on Arrakis, you're on campaigns in other worlds, you're involved in intrigue in the houses and the guild bank and all that sort of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of assassinations and
Arrakis is huge, but I feel like the interaction of what you can do on Arrakis is going to be limited.
Here's the thing: in the actual story of Dune, until the thing happened between where House Atreides took given control of Arrakis, right? Very little happened on the planet because the Spacing Guild was like, no, anything that disrupts the spice, and we'll strand your entire civilization in space forever. Like the Spacing Guild. Basically, there's, I guess you would say, 4 powers in Dune. There's the Spacing Guild, who controls the guild bank. There's the Lancerad, which is the organization of all the nobles. There's the Emperor and his the Sardaukar and all his forces. And then technically the third shadow power is the Bene Gesserit, right? And the goal of the Bene Gesserit and the guild is don't mess with the spice. Just don't mess with the spice. And prior to House Harkonnen kind of going crazy, Arrakis, the spice flowed off of Arrakis, and everyone was not happy, but it worked, right? And then, of course, Baron Harkonnen is an old, again, maybe close to what the Bene Gesserit is. There's a lot of story in there. We can not go.
Well, you're saying the Space Guild didn't want the spice to come off the world?
No. They wanted no disruption to the flow of spice.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with the Bene Gesserit. No disruption to the flow of spice. Okay. And when the Harkonnens, so the Bene Gesserit, the meta plot of Dune is based on a couple of things. I'm not going to go all into it, but one of them is the Bene Gesserit trying to breed the Kwisatz Haderach. Okay, because they want to basically gain the abilities of the males in the Spacing Guild, combine them with their own Bene Gesserit abilities. Okay, that's what the real goal. That's when Paul says he can see everything. That's what the males in the Spacing Guild can do. But they don't have the ancestral memory that the Bene Gesserits have. That's why he becomes a supercomputer. Anyway, so they, in the goal of breeding the Kwisatz Haderach, right? They were supposed to merge the Atreides and Harkonnen lines, who have been warring for over 20,000 years, basically, and keep it separate. So one of the Bene Gesserits has to go to Baron Harkonnen, who's young, handsome, and not quite as evil and corrupt at the time. He's still a hedonist, but he's not like NOOOOO malicious, whatever, and sort of grapes him, and he retaliates by double graping her, and she retaliates by implanting a virus at a genetic level that makes him obese and full of these pustules and smelly, and it drives him crazy. He becomes a being of hatred basically after that. And but that's how Jessica is born, right? From that union, so to speak. And then so that's when the Harkonnens started messing up on Arrakis, and the Fremen, of course, had a side deal with the Spacing Guild where they would give them even extra spice to make sure that no one. You ever heard in the movie? You heard the term. There's like the deep desert and all that. So most of what we see on Iraq, the outworlds in Arrakis, is that small little zone encapsulated by the mountain range, which keeps the worst of the weather and the sandworms out. Okay, and you can have technology. The Fremen civilization, where there's like hundreds and hundreds of millions of them, live in these mountains in the deep desert, super technology, and they have a deal with the Spacing. We'll keep you extra spice. Just make sure nothing detects us. So no Imperial satellites ever. They all just mysteriously crash and burn. Blah blah blah. Right. So Baron Harkonnen started wrecking up the official spice flow, which came from Harkonnens, got messed up by the Baron's his malfeasance. Right. Mm-hmm. At the same time, the Empress Corino was going crazy. Right. Because he wanted to live forever and rule forever. Right. But he was also not ruling very well. His cousin, Duke Leto, was gaining a lot of prominence, right? And so rather than do the smart thing is have Leto marry one of his daughters and be his heir, right? He decides he wants to wipe them out because he wants to live forever and rule forever. And that leads to the whole plot of Dune.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we got another one.
And another one does. This is my last one.
Okay.
My word. Is this a Lollabarina floret? We must be near its nest. We could do a lot worse for an interim camp.
Once your business here is concluded, you should find shelter. The sands come alive this time of year, like a wild beast bristling with lightning.
From the look of it, that must be this region's apex predator.
Guild permission granted. Begin the hunt.
Understood.
I'm gonna say right now, I hate the voice acting.
Yeah, which is why you do not do the English voice acting.
Anytime it's a game from the East, never do English voice acting. It is bad. I don't even care if they're a good voice actor. It just doesn't match because they're very different storytelling styles. They're very different emotionally expressive in style. They're just totally different. And you could have a really good voice actor like a Matt Mercer, Sam Riegel, or any of the big popular ones, and they themselves are good voice actors. If you put them in like an Eastern sphere, they don't have the same comprehension or understanding of how the Japanese, the Korean, or whoever operates with their voice acting, with their emotion, etc. Like, even if they were to do the exact same pitch, the exact same tone, the exact same everything, it's still different. And it's just, I don't think it's as good, but it also just stands out like a sore thumb to me. So that's just my main complaint. Other than that, I mean, it looks moderately good. They only showed us like
basically Monster Hunter, but
yeah,
the next one, right?
Like I got the Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Iceborne, or whatever. I haven't got to play them yet, though. I got so many games to play. I don't have time to play every single one. Like, come on! If I make $1 million, I can just sit here and play games for people. Sure, that'd be great, but ain't gonna happen. So, what do you guys think?
I did. Oh, sorry.
Go for it first. Oh. Go ahead, Sage.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Is it going to entice you to buy the game?
Well, probably. Well, maybe not
for everything.
I mean, I was going to get that anyways. So
a likely story. But what do you think, Matt?
I didn't really like the color palette. Like maybe because of the way I look at things, like with my visual challenges, sometimes certain color combinations make me not really want to look at it. Not that it hurts or whatever, but I'm like,
that would be Final Fantasy for me. Final Fantasy just has a strange color palette to me.
Like your brain's trying to process the details, but the color palette's making your brain not want to do it. Yeah,
I think the problem is that like Capcom has a Capcom feel, and everything in Capcom is Capcom. Like you can tell. It's not like they have a variety of different styles, arts, colorization, etc. But like it's like when you play a Resident Evil game. All the Resident Evil games feel the same.
Yeah.
Because the Resident Evil. They like you just look at the character, the structure of the noses, the structure of the hair, everything. Just like you can look at it and say Capcom. You can look at the font and say Capcom. Like it's the same. Every single time. You just realized this.
As you mention it, the font indeed.
So at the Capcom factory, there's a bunch of software engineers and programmers chained to their workstation, and dude's got a clipboard goes, "Not on the approved Capcom list. You're executed." You deviate from the palette by 0.4. Like, come on.
Yeah. Like, there could be some crazy fun stuff, and they don't do it, and I don't get it. But
well, again, it's they've found a canned way to make money, and so they're just going to keep repeating it until it doesn't make money.
Yeah, it's just I wish the East would put as much effort into things, because like one of the things I hate about like Xbox 360 and stuff was starting to come out. They had games coming out from the East, and then they would be like, "Oh, these look really fun," and it's like a Devil May Cry type game, which is Capcom, which has the font, which has the same color palette, has the same fighting style as like everything else. And I'm like, the story's what drags you in there, like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, any of those types of games. Like the story is what drags you in. But then the surrounding area, it's a limited area you can go into. You can't just wander around open world most of the time, and at least not in the old games. And it had to feel the big numbers when you attack and all that kind of stuff. It's just really annoying. But the area was just empty. It's you, the boss, nothing else. It's just like if you were in a city, it's literally like spray painted walls of just skyscrapers and stuff. And you're just like running down the street, turn, go down another street, turn, you're down another street, and it's just like it was a very empty and void type of game. It didn't have life to it, I guess. This one at least looks like it has an actual town. The town's got people in it. People are functioning. That actually has something to it. But once you go into the open wild,
it's supposedly also open world, though I wonder how close it is to Monster Hunter Worlds.
Well, isn't Monster Hunter World open world?
Not really.
Or is it like region limited?
You have like a region that's
like Witcher, then.
You can enter, and then you can
Witcher
switch
1
to
and 2,
a different region.
That'd be more like Witcher 2, where it's like you have areas you can go.
Yeah, Witcher 2 would probably be. But
you got limited zones you can go. You can't walk off script. You can't climb random walls. Like you're limited on where you can go, and you're like point A to point B destinations. It's very scripted. I don't like the railroading aspect. I like what Witcher 3 did, which is like here's just a big open world, and then you just go to a point that like
is great.
Like
so it's not really railroading. You do have a limited area, and you can just sort of run around.
Well, I meant like if you're going to point A to point B, you're like, let's go to the den. So you go to the den kind of zone area, and then you're gonna find it in this rough area. You're always like, if you're looking for this thing, go to this place. It's not like just be wandering around the world. Oh, there's the thing I'm looking for, and it just happens to spawn in a random spot every time you try to fight it. That kind of thing. But
no, that's not how world works. So yeah,
I know.
I wonder how Wilds is going to do it.
What about you, good sir Matt? Other than the color palette, of course.
Well, again, this isn't based on my current life's limitation of gameplay. This isn't the type of game I would look to play. Whereas Dune Awakening, I might play because it seems more, MMA than just to go in and do stuff.
Welcome back, sir.
I mean,
what happened?
No big deal.
I mean, it doesn't appeal to me, and maybe because of the color thing, it just doesn't appeal to me.
I'd play it like the reason I got World and Iceborne was specifically so I could play with people and have fun. Like grind doesn't bother me. I play First Descendant for crying out loud. Grind doesn't bother me. At least I should say that type of grind doesn't bother me. The grind that bothers me is when the developers make the problem and try to sell you the solution is go grind or buy more stuff to like cheat it out. That I don't like. So I don't want artificial grind. I want legitimate grind. But First Descendant does percentages for like drops and stuff. So if you want to get a drop, you just got to keep farming. Like I've been farming a character, one of the Descendants characters stuff you have to get to put the Descendant together. And I've got 3 of the 4 pieces, and I just have to finish this last map zone area and then just basically farm the mission in that area until I get the 4th piece. And then I put it together and I got to wait 15 or some hours and then I can have it. But like, I like if I go to like, Sage should probably know this considering he's been in my world in Valheim, but I can farm stone, wood, and resources all day long. It does not bother me. In Minecraft, you basically say, I need 1,000 stacks of dirt. You got it, fam. I'll be there. And I'll just show up with 1,000 stacks of dirt. It does not bother me in the slightest. Some people it does, so it would bother them more. But I just want to do something with somebody and have like this cooperative experience because I don't have the creative abilities to just go and build grand palaces and theaters and these great things, but I can get you the materials so you can do it, and I can say I'm a part of that. So that's why that doesn't bother me in that regard. Plus, I prefer more like the combat action-oriented stuff in that regard, which is why Valheim's just really fun. Also, soundtrack, chef's kiss. But yeah, Matt, are you wanting to jump out now, or do you want to try?
Yeah, let me because I gotta do stuff in real world before my stream about Wolfen. So, hopefully don't get too many mental strokes from if some of these woke trailers come up.
I don't think any of them are woke, as far as I recall, but some of them are kind of cheesy. But some of the cheesy ones are actually the interesting ones.
Well, cheesy is entertaining.
So. The last one, the War of the Rohirrim trailer is going to be the. Oops, I spoiled it. The War of the Rohirrim trailer is going to be the icing on the top of the cake. So we'll see how that works. But
yeah, okay. Later,
guys.
Right.
Have a good ones.
Yeah.
He's gone already. Never mind.
Darn, we can't talk about him now. All right. So let's just jump into the next one. And this one is one I am interested in. So
Same.
Peggy 18.
I have concluded a very fragile truce with Sigismund, and if anyone should disrupt my plans with headstrong acts of violence, there will be consequences.
I intend to wage war, not parley.
Everything all right, eh? We need more people. The best thing would be to recruit from your old comrades. Well, if they're not already swinging on the gallows somewhere. Will you help us, Henry?
Yeah, bro!
I like that boy already.
I like that boy already. Now,
it didn't seem to have too much info in it.
Yeah,
well,
no.
it gave us a better, a basic general idea of what the story plot is.
Mhm.
The king's got.
Yeah.
It generally looks the same as one, I guess.
Oh no, that's an upgrade. That's a big upgrade.
No, I mean the gameplay, not the visuals.
Oh yeah. I personally think if you're gonna do a first person, you should just stick with like the Skyrim method for weaponry when you're fighting.
Just swing.
Well, like a swing.
Swing, sure, but maybe not like that.
Well, maybe not like out like this.
Yeah.
But like head and rotations and stuff. But it's like when you're blocking with the shield, if you pull up the shield and kind of block your view because you're first person and stuff. But also like he's like block, tap you on the head, block, tap you on the head. I'm like, okay, that's that feels really complicated to actually like program into a controller, freaking using a keyboard and mouse. Like that just seems really, really complicated. Which it's nice when it's stylized. Don't get me wrong. I like the style. I just don't see a feasible way to do it without having like hold our L1 D-pad right, A and B tapped simultaneously to be able to like do some crazy freaking like fighter type game combination. We have to like spam the keys to be able to pull off these really cool sick stuff because that's just the more complicated the move and the ability is. Whereas opposed to like when he's going up behind the guy with a dagger and he's trying to stab him, do Skyrim where like you sneak up behind somebody, there's a button you push, you walk up, you grab him, and you stab him. And maybe he like struggles or whatever, depending on awareness or level or whatever. But that's it's still scripted in that regard. Yeah. Because if you're going to sneak up behind somebody, you're going to get them off guard. You're going to stab them. It's going to happen. You can't just like make it not happen unless you, of course, rattle some armor and it makes them more aware, and then it fails. But then you could have that scripted in too. Like you could have a very smooth combat system. But even The Witcher 3 has a fun, good system. But obviously that's third person versus first person, so you're gonna have to change some stuff. But make it simple, with the ability to add some extra like flourishing stuff. But even then it's kind of like maybe this, maybe that. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence because the first one I try to stick with more range stuff. I don't like being in front of somebody because the combat system's so jank. I can't like it. But I like the game. I like the setting. I like how I can work things around it. A lot of the stuff where like you have to just constantly be washed, constantly do this, constantly that gets a little tiring over time. Because like there should be an assumption like when you go to bed, you washed your clothes at the end of the night. You did all this stuff. Like give yourself at least some maintenance. Maybe not like perfect maintenance, not like prestidigitation or anything, but like you cleaned your small clothes. You're not a barbarian. Well, I mean you might be, but you're not a barbarian. So like things like that. I can see being more on the nice side. I do like the humor of the game.
From what I've seen in like the earlier part of the game, I like their humor and the storytelling.
Yeah, and Henry's an interesting character. They got a good voice actor for him. The guy literally looks like the guy who voice acts him. That's all promising. It looks gorgeous. It looks huge, which it could be the Assassin's Creed mentality where you warp between things like in the first one, where it's really big, like you're going like in Assassin's Creed, you go into Damascus and this is just ginormous city. But then like to go anywhere outside of the city, you gotta like actually warp to a place as opposed to obviously because you're not gonna like walk from Damascus all the way to Rome. Like you're not gonna do that. But I think that's probably what they're doing for the instance areas. Did you guys notice in the trailer with the guy swinging and kicking his legs? It's the guy from the horse who's just F you. And he falls off. It's the same guy, and I'm assuming he's one of your buddies, and you have to go in and save him. That's my assumption of that.
Yeah.
The colors matched up on the guy who's kicking and the guy who's on the horse who says F you. And also the combat system where the guy's hanging from the tree, kind of swinging while you're fighting some guards and beating the snot out of them. I do like the pommel bash to somebody's face. Like I like that kind of stuff. I just don't see how you're going to be able to do that with 4 buttons.
I think it's probably just the different combos because I saw like the last game had like different combos that you can do, but
way too many combos. Like I get like it should be more like in the like the side that you're at, this is the move you would be doing, and then this one to this, or you could like pick different sword styles that you could play with, and then it would just they're scripted. So like whichever.
I guess that's the thing is like they wanted to have more accurate sword technique.
I'm all for the accuracy. There's a lot more sword techniques than there are buttons on a controller.
Yeah.
So, like a keyboard has way more buttons than a controller, but you can only hit Control Z, X, C, V, B, N, M. Like you only hit those buttons with a control so many times when you're playing with a mouse and a keyboard because your fingers can only press so many buttons before you're using both hands on the keyboard, so you're not swinging around aiming with your mouse. Like,
how is the combat system on PC for Kingdom Come Deliverance? Have y'all tried it on the PC?
I play it on PC. It's a very weird style. It's not the natural feel. It's like when you play a shooter game and the buttons are inverted from what you're normally used to playing. It's like playing Halo and then playing Call of Duty. They're just completely polar opposites. So you have to like give one of them up to get used to either of them because it's just so wanky. And it's like trying to like map. They won't let you map buttons in most of these games, which is really annoying because like I want to map my buttons so I can see like I don't like the way this is change. Well, usually some games of like PS2, GameCube days and whatnot, they would let you like just swap through multiple styles until you found one you liked and or had a customized your option. So you'd go to the buttons and say, I want this to be my A, I want this to be my B, this to be my X, this to be my Y, or in the PlayStation, your square, your X, your whatever. They give you that option, but I don't think they do that for most modern games, which is really annoying. Keyboard usually has some customizability, but even then, there's just too many buttons, too many combinations for you to be able to do it accurately. But aside from that, one thing like if you could avoid,
how do you do the different direction changes? For the attacks, the 5 ways.
Or the mouse.
With your mouse. Okay, that's what I thought it probably would have been.
That's one of the things I don't like with the combat system because it like literally will move my vision just so I can hit a button at the right time to like block. And it's just like that's off. That's off. I'd rather not do that.
I guess at least on controller, you just use your right because you just get fixated on the guy and you don't move, you don't look away too much, and it's just the right.
You can
the right like
when you're fighting
that you just move.
That's really difficult to do. Because you're like, I gotta block, and then I gotta swing, and I gotta chop, and then I gotta stab, and then I gotta rip his head off.
I guess that's why they gave you perk that once you kill somebody, like some might run away. That's probably why like it gave you some perks to have crowd control.
For instance, Red Dead Redemption 2, we're like, oi, I saw that. I'm gonna go tell the sheriff. You're like, we're in the middle of the desert. We're the only 2 people. I killed one of them. You got spawned in by the game just so I could feel nervous. Because otherwise,
and then kill him.
Well, you have to go hunt him down and kill him. But then when you kill him, somebody else gets spawned in the game, and it just goes all the way back to the towns. You have just this trail of bodies because they just won't like be reason like they're artificial ways to make the game suspenseful or difficult because If you don't get them, they're going to go back. They're going to tell you the sheriff, and there's going to be a manhunt. There's going to be wanted posters everywhere. Like it's like if you have to spawn somebody into an area, it's bad design. It just needs to be that, like, if it's just a trapper walking in and he's like looking through the weeds, it's like, oh, he saw me, kind of a thing. I have a chance like to notice him, but I won't notice that the wanted poster thing's up until it's actually up, because that's not what happens. Because like if you kill a guard in like a World War II game or something, you like go up behind the Nazi, you slit his throat, you drag the body away, he's gone, but nobody saw you do it. And the patrols are like, you've already watched the patrols, you know they're not gonna come back around for the 40 minutes. You've got 40 minutes to do the mission before they notice. It's not like you kill him and then somebody's like, hey, what was that? And then they're like, he's away from his post, call it, like the whole alert thing. Basically what happens in Metal Gear Solid, which drives me nuts, because they're like, what was that sound? It's just like, there are animals in the jungle. Literally anything can set off this trigger. Why are you being like, where are you under attack? Like, if it's certain things, sure, but like everything? No, that's stupid. That's silly. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of games that do it better, and other games that just don't do it better. But I feel like the more modern we get, the more lazy the devs are.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
I want creativity. I want cool mechanics. I want cool play styles. But I want things to feel natural to the average gamer. And anybody who's playing in games should know what the average gamer would feel like. And if you don't know, like, these guys are actually in, is it Czechoslovakia? Or no, Hungary? Is it Hungary that they're from?
I'm not sure exactly where they are.
They're actually in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, they are European.
Either the Czech Republic or
Bohemia, Hungary, wherever they are.
Or I don't know, Slovenia, Slovakia,
Bulgaria, something. Not range, but if they're in that area and they have a different controller layout, they should probably have somebody that they're in cahoots with. I know that sounds kind of a weird word to say. It's just
yeah.
But if they're in cahoots somebody in America, I'd be like, hey, what do you guys think would be a very comfortable way to play this? And then just let them, like, here's the average person who plays these kind of games, like RPGs and whatever. This is how the controller schematic would be, and then send it back to them so they can say, okay, if you're playing the English version of this, you get the schematics this way. If you're not playing the English version, you get a different schematic, because it's go like same way like language is region to region, do game controls region to region, unless it's just a universal. This is not a universal style. It's too weird for that, but to say. You're gonna be excited about this next one.
I'm not really.
Yes, you are. Don't be lying. Why are you lying? All right.
Civilization was a game that was created during a time when we were just discovering what games could be.
What was this one?
And we said, let's put...
What?
2 minutes. Okay, yeah.
It's a short one. It's kind of giving you like the...
Because it sounded like the start of the super long live stream.
Yeah.
The entire history of the world.
Don't worry, I made sure that none of these were longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Into a game and make it fun.
Sid Meier's Civilization 1 in space. That's a good place to start. specs. But
Pre-order, or else you can't use those guys.
so they released them as DLC that you could buy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, it's easier to get them by pre-ordering for free rather than paying like $5-10.
True.
But
you're pre-ordering.
Never pre-order. So, and that's the thing. Is like, there would be certain instances in which I would be okay with pre-ordering, and that's if I know for a fact the people who are doing it are like I'd be willing to pre-order from Larian Studios.
Yeah.
They've garnered a ton of goodwill by being on side of the gamers, knowing what the gamers want, not putting things in just to like satisfy DEI. Basically, what Cyberpunk not Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red was CD Projekt Red before they went off the deep end.
Yeah, basically when they finished Witcher.
Yeah.
Witcher 3.
Funny, Cyberpunk was the last game I pre-ordered.
Cyberpunk wasn't that bad. I didn't pre-order it, but I was really late to the game, but pun intended.
If you pre-ordered it, it was bad.
Well, I heard about that stuff, but it was mostly I didn't have the money and I didn't have the time for it at that time. But like it itself wasn't like DEI infested or woke infested or anything like that. It didn't even have that bad of writing. Like it wouldn't be considered a bad game. It was buggy.
Gameplay was a bit.
The writing for me wasn't that bad.
I'd put Cyberpunk up against like Fallout 4. I'd say Cyberpunk would be more interesting.
Yeah, could be.
But Fallout
Cyberpunk, has a better story than Fallout 4.
I like the Fallout games to a certain extent. I just know Bethesda's just not. They don't put as much effort into their games like CD Projekt Red does. CD Projekt Red.
I do, however, really dislike the fact that you became like the side character to Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah, that was a bit weird, but I did like having Keanu Reeves in the game.
Sure. Yeah.
I think the wasn't that like a late stage change that they did whenever they got Keanu in.
I think so.
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
not
not
something
100%
I
sure.
was privy to the information of, but all in all, it was fun. It felt like Grand Theft Auto, but first person as opposed to Grand Theft Auto third person, and without the ridiculousness of Grand Theft Auto. But I like it was pretty, it was flashy. It's a shooter, so it's pretty easy to pick up. It wasn't difficult. You'd have enemies that were difficult to fight. I thought the little tech gadget cyber part was a little overkill because they got like so ridiculous with having to hack everything, having to like burn someone's mind or something like that. That got a little excessive. The cool aspects and cool concepts, but it felt like they could have made that much simpler. Like look down a scope.
Yeah,
have buttons.
I feel like all the psychos, all the the cyber psychos, they just didn't feel much different from each other.
Well, it was more like, well, I mean, they're tribes, so that they're not going to feel that much different. There's different grades. There's the grunts, all the way to like the lieutenants, and then the bosses. So I'm talking like if you aimed at somebody with a gun or something, you'd have options pop up like right button plus right button or right button plus left button, and then they would do different things like hack or this that, rather than having to like manually go in, pull it up to be like I want to do this or that. It felt like it could have been simplified a little bit more. But either way, there was a lot more to do in Cyberpunk than there was in Fallout. Fallout was kind of like you just run into big things that are going to kill you really quick and easy. And then there's a whole lot of nothing between point A and point B. That kind of put me off to that.
You did have the settlement thing, but that was a bit awkward to work with. So, yeah.
Yeah, the settlement wasn't well done. In terms, like the concept's great. The ability to make my own stuff.
That's the reason why there's so much empty space.
Well, there's that, but
do
like a lot of the settlements were pre-established, so you didn't really like build out beyond them. But even if you did, you got like Deathclaws walking in and just like, yeah, my machine gun turret's not gonna be able to push off a freaking Deathclaw.
Fair.
So like, can I build giant robots? Can I hack other robots? Can I bring them back to my base? Can I have them protect my base? Can I capture a Deathclaw? Can I train them to like guard my territory? Like there's so cool things you could do, but I honestly they should have left it up to the modders. Bethesda's just not good at making games. That's the simple
more, yeah.
they're good at making a skeleton of a game, but they need modders to fill it in.
Yeah, the modders.
But why they don't find the good modders for like Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, or Oblivion, or Fallout New Vegas, or whatever, like all the modders, and say, we'll hire you to come on, because obviously they don't want to spend money, that's why they don't do it. But if
They do that.
Right? That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking like
they hire them, but I think some of the modders are getting privy to that. So like they're just doing it just to make them stop from making mods that embarrass them, I think.
Well, no, but the thing is that it doesn't embarrass them; it sells them games. Like people buy the games because of the mods. If they didn't have
that was back in the day, but nowadays I think it is more also embarrassing them, right? Because
something. If I was a company that was releasing an unfinished game,
shits on all of new Bethesda stuff.
Well, yeah, but like if I was releasing a game that was unfinished, half baked, and was terrible, modders came in and just made it so much better with a quarter or even like a percentage of the manpower, I'd be embarrassed, just hands down. Now, my advice would be go to those modders and say, hey, take an engine that's open source or whatever, just go in and make your own world, make your own game, get together with other modders and say, hey, let's get together. We're already doing this basically for free anyway. And some people might get paid, let them get paid individually or whatever. But it's like, hey, we'll just make our own studio together. We're already doing the work. Just freaking put the thing together, make our own game, then put them to shame. But it's also people want to like the characters. They want to get used to the storyline. They want things to be familiar. And I get that. But like you could just do better in your own game and then get legitimately paid for it. For the time you're already putting in as a modder. Just have the guys who work on the atmosphere and the layout and the terrain, like have them just build the terrain, have them work on the atmosphere. But okay, let's go over to character design. Well, let's have these people do the character design. People want attractive characters, sure, but let's throw some dirt on them. Let's make them a little bit grimy. Like let's have a mechanic where they can wash it off by taking a shower, then get grime on it by just traveling a lot or something. Whether it be Elder Scrolls or
no, wait a minute. That sounds a lot like the tedious Kingdom Come Deliverance parts.
Well, no, I'm saying like you can make it reasonable. Like even Kingdom Come Deliverance, like being able to wash your clothes, which like removes mud stains and stuff. That's a mechanic that you should be able to do on your own. You shouldn't need to go to a bathhouse to do that, which is what the mechanic is in the game. Like people will respond to you because you're prestidigitatus or whatever the frick the word is called, and I can't say it because the way my mouth is. But if you have to go see a bathhouse every single time, and you're in an area and they don't have a bathhouse, people are going to talk to you poorly. It's like, well, what if I camp for the night and I go to a stream and I clean my underwear and I clean my tabard and I I shine my helm or something like that kind of stuff, which you don't need to have like a whole cutscene. Just be like, go end of the night. Do you want to clean your clothes? Press X to down. And you go over and it just like sees you like start scrubbing and then it fades to black and then, you know, you go to bed. Okay, that gives me at least something to work with to where I can get up and say I'm at least like a 70% clean rather than 100%, which you'd get from the bath. That would make sense, but you'd at least get people to respond to you better. Do that, but like in like Skyrim or Fallout, when you get a mod for like a body type, you want the super hot babes, the big boobs, the big butts, the jiggle physics and all that jazz, but that is a super clean model. As opposed to like in the world, people are a bit grimy. It seems out of place at that point. So you're like, okay, well, what if we have it kind of be just the model, but then the world interactions, like if you're dodge rolling through a dust pile, you get a little bit of dust on you. If you dodge roll through a mud pile, you get a little mud on you. And then you look like part of the people rather than just a super clean model. But then you can go take a shower or you can jump into the lake and then you get clean because of that to some extent, obviously.
Okay.
That would be like a mechanic, but have those people who work on the body models and the meshes and everything and the textures, have them be working on that. Have the other people who work on bosses or character like companions and stuff, have those people working on other things. Like they have all the modders they need to make the game. They just need to make the game.
This is called hiring people for your game studio.
But what I'm saying is that they're already doing it for free.
Yeah, but they might not want to work together with other people.
But that's what I'm saying is that they themselves could be getting what Bethesda's getting, the money. They could put Bethesda to shame.
But maybe they're not interested in that.
Well, they might not be, but I'm just saying, like, in a world where games are just
and see,
trash.
If they really did want to do that, they could do it, right? So why is it not happening?
I don't know, but like, if you're gonna make Fallout, was it Britain or whatever, the one that just came, Fallout London, where they came out with it's literally just a whole game overhaul as a mod.
Yeah,
you bet they're getting paid for it because people want that game to happen. But that's the thing. If you just made a game, whether by yourself or with other people involved, if you just made the game, you could literally have that source of income come in, pay you for your time, but have an entire brand new game, your own context and character designs, the entire plot lines completely open to you, all that kind of stuff, and people will pay you. Like, you don't even need Bethesda games for that. You don't have to perfect somebody else's work with little to no pay. You can just do it and get paid big bucks.
And except for the IP issues.
I'm saying you have IP issues explicitly.
Yeah, sure.
If you had something, like if you had a I'm gonna picking up him on both ends. If you were to make a similar but different concept, like, you don't have to use the Fallout brand. You don't have to.
You get that.
You can make a whole new world, a whole new thing. Do it.
Why don't you go organize it then?
Huh?
Why don't you go organize that then?
I would love to have my own video game studio. Thank you very much. Thanks for rubbing it in. But there's so many pieces and parts that I don't personally have access to. I can't just reach out to a modder and then just take me seriously in that regard. Modders talking to each other would take each other much more seriously because they're probably aware of each other's work, because they probably use their mods, especially when they have, I think Fallout London used a whole slew of mods with permission from the other modders and stuff to basically combine it into a new world. And basically,
I don't know exactly what they did there. I don't have Fallout.
There's a lot of things. There's a Skyrim pack that I'm interested in getting, where they took all the mods, put them in the proper orders that they have to in the loading order, and did everything for you. So all you have to do is just basically download it, go into the game, hit start game, and then you play a whole new game practically.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, why not just do that? Just make a whole new game. Like, it makes sense to me. And if they want me to organize it, I'll organize it. I freaking don't care. But like, I'm more of like the creative aspect rather than the actual technical aspect. I know what things gamers want and what things gamers don't want, but modders typically are very independent people. But if you can put them in good terms with each other, then there's a lot you could do. But what that is a totally different story. But yeah, thoughts on the
Civilization. It looks good visually.
Yeah, I did like that they kind of stepped away from the
minus the leader models and the diplomacy screens.
The screens might be questionable, but at least they went away from the over-the-top cartoony.
And that's great.
Normal.
It keeps the stylized feel a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great.
I like the
visually.
interactions. The interactions for battle and stuff look pretty interesting.
That looked good.
Updated and stuff. So I like
however, what kills it for me is the fact that you don't play as one civilization anymore.
Yeah, but as we were having in our Discord conversations, it's an interesting concept. I can kind of see how it would work if you want to like stitch them together in that regard. I think they should just make a mode where they have it be multiple different ones, and then have a mode where you play the same one.
No, if they do that, that would be great.
You get the best of both worlds, and then everybody can be happy with whatever they want. And it's like, that's cool. I am really sick and tired of the weather effects.
The weather effects?
Well, volcanoes erupting and meteors crashing down.
Oh, that you can just turn that off though.
Yeah, but you also lose a lot of other stuff as well if you turn off that expansion or that whatever. It's not just one thing. It's like they bundle it together with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah,
if it was just a one feature, then sure, that's fine. But like, the volcano has good effects. You get the good effects by saying, okay, it gives you better food, but it also destroys your buildings. And I'm like, I get that there's hazards to your civilization. That's totally fine. I'm not against that. But there's like the sea level rising, and you literally lose it just because you're advancing your civilization, because they're taking the whole global warming thing to the max for some reason. And I'm sure it's because they themselves believe in the whole global warming thing. Whereas, like, if you look at the history of Earth, it always like gets really, really bad, and then it fixes itself. It gets really, really bad, it fixes itself. It gets really, really bad, it fixes itself. It's literally a cycle of the planet. So just assume that and run with it. Just assume that you don't have to add a whole other mechanic for that. Like, you could have, like, I'm okay with occasional volcano exploding or something. That makes sense. But I'm okay with occasionally the rivers flooding. That makes sense. Like having occasional up maintenance, whatever. But like sea level rising, just because you're polluting the air. Like, there are no trees in the freaking game, and that's literally what trees do, is to take the freaking pollution out of the air. It's literally CO2 is what they feed off of. Come on, people, you got to make it so they can survive. Do you hate trees? Like, it doesn't make sense that you have
to have a replanting option. So maybe not. You can replant trees.
Well, there's that option as well.
It doesn't affect CO2 though.
Well, I'm saying, like, in terms of they remember, like, in 6 and possibly 5. I don't remember very much about the previous games. I'm assuming once I start playing 7, I'll forget all about how to play 6. But
maybe
in terms of, like, when you start building factories and you use coal, or then you get technical stuff and all that stuff, and it's just like you ramp up everything, and all the disasters get like super crazy fast. I'm like, guys, even in real life, we don't have this. We still get only like 1 or 2 hurricanes a year, if that. Then you got regular storms, but regular storms happen all the time. I'd rather see, instead of the sea level rising, I'd rather have like thunderstorms. And like when storms come in, they like shoot lightning, and they can potentially cause, like, have a percent chance of causing damage on your territory. That would be fine, I think. But if they're going to go over the top, that would just, what's the point? So I don't know. But for the most part, it doesn't look horrible. But I'm personally more interested in games like Old World, where they stay in the ancient civilization. I don't really care for the modern age that much. If I wanted a modern age, I'd go play Company of Heroes or something. Rise of what is it? Is it Rise of Legends? Or no, Rise of Nations. Rise of Nations is just an RTS version of Civ.
Yeah, could be.
Well, it's literally, you start on the ancient civilization and you end up shooting rockets into space. Like, all it is just RTS version of Civ. That's literally the difference. So I don't know. I'm also not a huge, like, I enjoy the turn-based aspects of D&D and like Baldur's Gate 3 more than I enjoy like 40K, where you have like a unit of 50 and you have to move each individual one to certain locations, and then they all each individually do combat, because it means one battle is going to take 8 hours to do. It's just, that's a little too much. Baldur's Gate's a little bit smaller, but you actually have like a lot that one individual character can do, as opposed to shooting or not shooting. Even MechWarrior, or not MechWarrior, BattleTech has a variety of ways you can do it, and I prefer the ones that make it flow more naturally. Turn-based, like basically, like if we were doing simultaneous combats versus not simultaneous combats. You see what I'm saying? Like, how boring would that be? Especially for like Total War. Total War, if you had to sit through every single individual one, when you have 600 different provinces by 600 different people, it's gonna be a long wait. So you skip all of them over to you, and you basically like, I want the rundown of the things in my territory, or that are in the area surrounding my territory. So if I see somebody roll an army, I'm aware of it, but I don't need to see what they're doing over in freaking like Thailand when I'm over in Scotland. Like, I don't need to see that, because nothing over there is going to affect me directly, with the exception of potentially a war between, Thailand and like Japan or something or whatever, because that might affect my trade. But aside from that, like, I can't go over there to help them or anything. I'm on the freaking other side of the world. So that kind of stuff, I particularly would like to see them kind of fix up a bit, but they won't. Why would they care about my opinion? But aside from that, what did you think?
This is not my type of game.
Not a strategy player?
Yeah, no, strategy games. No, I'm not very much.
You're one of them
They don't
bad
appeal to me.
players, aren't you?
I like to see my guy run around and do stuff
With the
while I
football.
punch people. That's what I like.
So you're
That's
more
fair.
like you're more of a looter shooter.
I can
or-
respect that.
Yeah, like right now I'm playing the Mad Max game.
Hmm.
I didn't realize it was the Mad Max game.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It has like the Arkham kind of style of fighting.
I need to go play those because I have them. I've had them for years. And I just have never gotten to play. I have
Yeah,
800 plus games. I need to play them so freaking bad, but there's always another game coming out. I'm like, ooh, I want to play that, or I want to play it, and then I'm disappointed by it, and it just drives me nuts.
I played the first one. It's really good. I really do like it.
This next one we got coming up is also interesting.
Enjoy.
If you
Never
guys-
heard of that.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, you're in for a treat. Have you heard about this one?
What was it called?
Inzoi.
Enzoy? No, I haven't.
Oh, wow, you guys are in for a treat.
All right.
Where's this Sims?
So, yeah.
This is basically Sims, but
It's
Yeah,
Sims.
it seems like it.
It's like Sims on steroids. Because Sims has always been really cartoony and over the top. This is more like if Grand Theft Auto was a Sims.
yeah.
So, in that regard, I'd probably play that over Sims personally. But
Yeah,
I'm not,
recently.
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm not really a Sims player. Like the concept of trying to be a control freak is just not my thing. Like,
Is that the concept of Sims?
well, yeah, you're telling people what to do, where to go, do this, do that. Like you're living multiple people's lives.
Yeah,
You
but
kinda
that's
know what character
okay.
you have, but-
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
like I remember I saw this
different
person.
from,
This person
an
said,
RPG.
it's not an
Um,
RPG.
No, but how is it different from, say, where you have multiple characters in a party that you all control? Are you also a control freak there, or
That's like a mechanic that makes the game like Baldur's Gate. That's a mechanic for combat or something like that. Like, but that's like a tabletop. That's how it has to be, unless you're doing like a Path of Exile, where it's fast paced combat.
yeah, sure.
In Path of Exile, like if I'm playing with you, well, I'm not controlling you. You're just there
Yeah,
along for the
no, I
ride.
get that.
We're doing things together. But
But in
if you're playing,
Sims,
but Sims is like the whole city.
no, not the whole city,
Well, it depends
just
on what
your house plus people that live there.
Well, there's the creator version of it where you can go in and kind of do everything, share
okay.
power around, all that jazz. It's just you can kind of tweak everything to be the way you want it to be. It's not like you still have to tell people to do, because I think in the early Sims, and I could be wrong because I wasn't a Sims, my cousin was into Sims, but it used to be, I thought, that you just put people there and you just kind of watch over them and then they would do stuff. And it kind of has that, I think, still, but a lot of it requires you to do a lot of the heavy lifting, specifically for at least the character you build. But I think you can build multiple characters. Like if you have a family or something, then you have to tell them each to go this place.
I
Go
mean,
that place.
you could just drop them in there and let them do their own thing.
Sand, like an ant in a sand farm or something.
Yeah, of course, you do need to build your house, so
buy it.
They don't decorate it by themselves.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like Inzoi, it feels like if Grand Theft Auto like 6 or whatever is coming out, if that
Who
was
knows when?
yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it's gonna pull a Saints Row 4 or whatever that was that bombed horribly.
Oh yeah.
If you have this grandiose game like Grand Theft Auto, that's a big huge city, and then you can just pick like a person and you walk around and you do stuff like that, but you can kind of have interactions with literally everybody. You can go into virtually every building and do all that kind of stuff. That could be interesting.
Could be.
But it also feels extremely stressful. But yeah, what did you guys think?
Well, again, this isn't a game that I'm
probably
interested
not
in.
my type of game, but if I were
Yeah,
into
I'm
that
not-
type,
I'm not
I would
expecting many
probably
people-
consider it interesting.
I'm not expecting many people to be like, "Ooh, I can't wait for that game." I have to say, and it's going to sound like a stereotype, but it's more of a woman's game.
Yeah,
not guys.
Probably, yeah.
Just because it's got all the housey stuff, you can do a lot of the fashion stuff, you can do all
Mhm.
that kind of things, and that's more what girls are into. Not saying guys can't or won't play it, but I'd say if you had to lean one direction or the other,
It has a target audience.
It's not a 50.
Yeah.
It's definitely aimed towards the female persuasion more than the male persuasion.
hmm
But
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are guys who will play it. Or there probably are girls who don't want to play it, but
yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, and we won't make fun of those guys too badly.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit.
They'll show you up, get good scrub. But here's one that is an updated version, hopefully, of what we have seen in prior times, and I'm looking forward to it because I actually love this series. I just don't like how they've treated the cinematic. So
Oh, right. Jew.
are they reusing the same one?
So, you want to know all about heroes, do you? Well,
I think I've seen this
have come to the right place.
Yeah, I have seen this one, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I've seen this one too. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's hold on. I'm gonna take a gander.
I think this is the one where it shows like she isn't looking as bad as she used to.
I think so, yeah.
This might be the
Yeah.
updated version. That's why I wanted to watch it because it's only from 2 months ago, and I thought the Fable like a
No,
while
but didn't
back.
we watch that like 2 months ago
we-
on stream as well?
Well,
On the
Maybe
video.
we did, but I thought they had an updated version of it because this particular the way that she's styled now was not this way in the previous one. Like she still had the ugly face. She did not have the updated version. Like there's the
Okay.
year ago official trailer. That was this one.
Yeah, but that one is completely different.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll just skip this one because I'm pretty sure they might have just updated one or two things in the trailer, which good on them if they did, but I don't know.
Well, maybe let's skip forward through the video or something. Oh, now it's too late. Never mind.
I can. I'll just go back, but I don't know. She got to turn around, though, is the question.
Like the whole vibe of the game just doesn't really appeal to me because it's like trying to be all sarcastic and witty and stuff, and it's
Well, that's the Fable series is very innuendo, satire.
Hard to say because this is a bit of a darker screenshot, but it looks probably the same.
I'm sure they'll have more. Oh, look, afro hair. It looks a little bit better. Let's just say they didn't.
I
do a
mean,
flash job.
is this game gonna make you play that character, or is it like can you customize your character to look? certain way?
That's
Don't
currently
know.
unknown.
There's a chance because the previous games you get a chance like you get a generic character. But you'd have in Fable 2 and 3 you could pick a boy or a girl, and then you just customize them how you wanted to. But they had like a basic body. They didn't have a custom unique body like this.
Mhm.
Maybe they're going for we want you to play this girl specifically. That get it on PC, mod the frick out of it because that'll make it decent. But I don't think the rest of the game looks that bad. I like the humor. The humor is part of the fun, Like in Fable 2, I don't remember if they had it in Fable 3 too, or also. They had these little gnomes that would like insult you as you like would go around, and you'd hear like, "Oi, your mummy's wearing a willy on your face!" Like they'd say really silly things, and you'd hear them, and you'd have to go find them, and you'd shoot them to break them, and then that would like unleash their gnome soul, and it would go back to the person who had like a whole bunch of gnomes, and they'd like it's like a collection thing. You'd have to go collect them all over the world. Like
Yeah.
you'd hear them insulting you, and you'd have to go find based off of the sound where they were, and it was like Monty Python with a French, like, "Go away before I taunt you a second time." Like it's like that kind of humor, and you just hear it all over, and you're like, "Wait, where is that little bugger? I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to like."
Do you think they're gonna do like that type of similar humor as good?
I don't know. That's the problem. It's like you can kind of see some of the humor in the trailer, but it's not the same type of humor as the previous games. And nobody really liked 3. It was like an industrial age stuff, and it was kind of like lame. The first
Yeah, that's
two,
what I heard.
The second one's really, really popular. The first one's really, really good. And if you get they have like a remade version of it where they added the expansions and everything into it all in one package, and they're great games. You could buy houses and then rent them out and stuff, and then have like a passive income coming in, which is really nice. There's a lot you can do with them. They're very snarky. They're very adult. Like you can go to a bordello and get the black screen and hear the bed bouncing and like all the really funny sounds they make and everything. But they're really fun games in terms of just like the interactions, all the choices, because like you can literally go dark side or light side or stay neutral depending on what your actions do. And you could help the bandits and get access to their camp and become a bandit guy where people in the town are terrified of you. The guards will try to attack you, or you could be good on the good side and then have the guards on your side. Merchants will give you bonuses because they like you. And then like you could have the merchants fear you and give you like discounts, or they can love you and give you discounts, and the level of them will be different on different ways. But I personally think Fable's a great franchise, even if 3 was a bit of a disappointment. But this one looks visually appealing in terms of like the graphics are good. I don't know how they're going to do the humor, if they're going to do it right, but I'm also worried they're just going to just sink DEI into it so freaking hard. That I'm not looking forward to it.
That's what it seems like, especially with that one trans person that they had.
Huh?
Who, remember, they said that the character looked just like that person, basically.
Oh yeah.
Which one?
One of the.
That's what it always seems. It always seems like self-insert.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of those in different games, but some of them were debunked, and they actually weren't self-inserts. They were just had somebody that was like another model, but they just fudged it up so much because they couldn't do it accurately. And it's like,
the problem is they look pretty similar.
Well, no, like you can see the actress that does the Fable girl, and she
looks nothing like her.
Actually a pretty woman.
She's very pretty.
They deliberately uglified her for the game.
Yeah.
I'd be insulted. Now, granted, it's also the studio that like we don't want it to be an exact replica. Like Henry in Kingdom Come Deliverance, he's literally like a 1-to-1 ratio. Like that's what he looks like in life. You can go see what he looks like in real life from like the dev diaries and stuff. It's literally a 1-to-1 ratio. The eyes where they're placed, the forehead creases, everything, his voice, everything's a 1-to-1 ratio. They didn't swap nothing. But
I feel like if you're gonna have the motion cap guy like for the face, if you're gonna have that, why change it so much? Like it's just like
look at like Troy. Is it Troy Barker for Indiana Jones?
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker. They made indie things. They didn't use. I don't freaking know these people. Sheesh. I have games to play, not documentaries on games to watch. Sheesh.
Yeah, but at least go for a real sounding name.
Why you do realize there are people with Barker as a last name, right? Like The Price is Right.
Yeah, but who is called Trey?
Who? Trey?
Trey.
Trey's not an uncommon name.
Yeah, it is.
Not in America, it's not.
I very much doubt that.
You're just a loser EU person who doesn't know anything. Stupid.
Yeah, well, yeah. In the U.S., there's people called Trey.
Yeah, the EU is just weird. Communistic. But yeah, like there's the face of Indiana Jones is not.
Yeah.
What's his face's face? They use a model, and that I think would be fine if that was the intent. But then she wouldn't look anything like it. She would just be the mocap, and that's not what they did. They made her look very much like it, and then just uglified it. And it's like, well, we know that's not the original actress because that's not what the original actress looks like. So,
well, another example is Stellar Blade, where I think they just did the body capture, but they didn't use her face exactly.
Yeah, I don't think they used her face, but they did thicken her thighs and her butt and the legs and stuff.
Yeah,
like that, which
I mean,
because that threw off the proportions a little bit and it drove me nuts. Hey, sister.
But I guess but the people can't say that they didn't have a good basis for Eve.
You can't say, oh well, because they were arguing that they used a child's body or something. It's like, no, that's
ridiculous.
It's the face.
No, her face is what they were saying.
Everything. They said that she was AI unrealistic. The face was a kid. The whole. They were just like, oh, it's this Lolita nonsense. Of like, no, Asian women just look smaller and younger.
I remember It's a Gundam was watching that one dude who was trying to say that it looks like a child, and that guy was going around New York trying to ask people, oh yeah, does this look like an adult or something? It's like. And it's like these two black women with colored hair going like, oh yeah, she that looks like a kid. It's like, what's wrong with y'all people? It's like, oh my gosh,
it's New York, not exactly the bastard.
Yeah, it's New York.
Gosh, maybe they should ask them then. Well, Asian people.
It would be so funny because there's so many games where the women in the game look just like the women in real life.
Especially nowadays.
And they're older games, like with Metal Gear Solid. That game franchise has women that look like the women that they capture the face for.
Yeah, and the Jedi Fallen Order. They did a really good job with that one. So why is it so difficult to be do female characters?
Don't you know? It's basically impossible. It was a miracle that they managed to pull it off in that one. And also all the others. Ignore that.
Yennefer and Triss to look attractive.
Well, no, that's an accident, probably.
It was a laboratory explosion, is what it was.
Yes,
but yeah,
maybe it was a little bit of misogynistic touch to it.
Polish misogynists that all left the studio because they went DEI positive. All right,
yeah, they're gone. So.
Here's the new. This one's the funny one.
What the?
Okay.
What is this?
I don't know.
is either the Korean or Japanese version. I think it's Korean, but it could be Japanese version of Pal World, but like cutesy.
Ah, okay. So that was
Okay.
the world copy you were mentioning.
So it's probably less eating of the pals.
Less eating of the Pal.
Probably, yeah.
But
Probably also no
it's funny.
guns.
I was watching Epic Mike do that, his reaction to it, and he's just sitting there like this the whole
Like,
time.
what is this?
He's just sitting there like this, and at the end, he's like, "Not gonna lie, I'm gonna probably buy it." I started laughing, and I was like, "You know, as a connoisseur of monster catching and taming games, I probably will buy it too." Because I mean, it's got the cutesy monsters and stuff. Like, sure, go for it. But the gameplay actually looks like there's a lot to do. It's like kind of like Animal Crossing mixed with Pokemon, mixed with a very specific color palette, which is unique to that genre.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they mix it with, like, at first, all you see is monsters. All you see is monsters. And then you see this girl, and she looks like a normal, what you'd expect, digitized girl. And you're like, okay. Up until the girl shows up, it was kind of questionable. When the girl shows up, you're like, okay, so you could be an actual avatar character. You can probably have your own house. You could probably go around and catch stuff. Maybe it's a pre-established world where Pal World is like half pre-established, but it's more survival focused, where this looks like it's just Pokemon, maybe with quests and stuff. And then maybe a battle system, or might not even have battles. I don't know. It didn't show anything battles. It just showed like a whole horde of people. And I guess you can do fun mini games or something with them. And maybe I don't know, because there's nothing to really tell us what it is.
Yeah,
but
no,
it doesn't look bad is the best part. Like, it looks smooth. Like the resolution and textures and stuff look pretty nice.
That was probably like a cinematic only. It didn't look like gameplay.
Well, they had like,
I'm inclined to agree.
Some of those were zoomed in, and you could tell it was like it's textured like it's in game.
Oh,
I wouldn't. Some of it might be cinematic, but the whole thing is not cinematic.
Okay.
But, what are you guys' thoughts?
I mean, what?
All right.
I mean, it just seems like it'll probably be like my guess is maybe a farming game where you can have the creatures help you. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, the creatures help you, yes, but I'm like, they might be battle, they might not be battle. I think they might pull away from the battle and just do other things with them. But
I don't know. It didn't show any. At least with Power, they showed you like you can get into battles and stuff with the creatures.
I'm not sure about the details.
Yeah, but if you had to choose between Monster Hunter Wilds and this game, which would you play?
It would be Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh, you're such a lame ball. He's trying to preserve his incelness.
I have to go for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're moving pretty fast actually now that everything's trucking along. This one I don't know much about, but
Little Nightmares.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see it. I don't know. 5 or 6 minutes almost. Damn.
I will probably not go through the whole thing, but it's like a gameplay.
Hi, I'm Coralie Fegnino, producer of Little Nightmares 3. We are very excited to have the game playable at Gamescom this year, but for all of you that can't be here, we wanted to give you a sneak peek at our demo, as well as some exclusive footage.
That right there's a rat with his intestines out and flies buzzing around it. Although
Lovely.
the flies are really, really small.
I guess that counts as a nightmare. Don't really see anything in this one.
Little Nightmares 3 tells the story of Flo and Alone, two friends trapped within the spiral, a cluster of disturbing places.
Lovely.
The dunes of Arrakis.
Wait a moment.
Skylar is top. That's a nightmare.
Yeah, true.
Why equipped with their own iconic item. Alone has a wrench that will have a variety of usages, like for example, activating mechanics.
Usages?
Mhm. It's French.
You Europeans are so backwards.
No, that's just the French.
I know. It's always the French.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody French. See, my problem with the game is that, like, or these kind of story games and stuff with puzzles and things, is like somebody actually made a miniature puzzle, right? Like this is they're supposed to be, I think, miniatures because they're the size of a rat.
Is
right?
there? What?
Yeah, because at the beginning they were right next to a corpse of a rat, and they're about the same size as the rat, so they're supposed to be miniatures, right?
Sure.
So somebody goes into this world, puts in the wall right there. You see the little.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what you mean.
They go through and they make this whole thing, the small little boards and everything. And I'm like, as far as we know, these are the only two small people in this entire thing. So somebody went and made this thing specifically so somebody could stick a wrench on it to turn it. I'm like, that blows my immersion out immediately. But then again, I do overthink things. So, I mean,
yeah.
If I took my brain and chucked it out the window, maybe this could be funny or not funny.
But this
fun.
is a magical nightmare place. So
yeah, but magical nightmare places can still be logical or make sense. Like if the plot, some guy set all this up like a little hamster test thingy, then sure, that makes sense. But I highly doubt that's the overall.
To survive in this dangerous world, teamwork would be essential, as Lo and Alone will have to work together to keep moving forward. During the game, our two friends will find new items to help them progress. This is Monster Baby, one of the new residents of Little Nightmares 3. She might have something to do with what happened to Necropolis and the people that used to live here. It seems that crows are not the only living inhabitants left. And to defend themselves against this threat, Lo and Alone have to work together and find new uses for the items.
You stack them, I whack them. I mean, it seems like an interesting kind of horror.
We share this part of the game.
But it's more of like a stealth puzzle, avoid contact.
Yeah.
It's not like a 2D side scroller Metroidvania type game where you're like fighting the boss or anything. At least I can tell. But I don't know. I mean,
toys. We should probably avoid our gaze and play hide and seek behind the blocks.
all the blocks are spaced out perfectly.
What a coincidence.
Come on. But yeah. I don't know. I hadn't even known of the first two, so it is what it is. So
I mean, I don't think I'm going to play this, but it looks okay-ish.
I mean,
interesting at least.
The graphics aren't that bad.
Yeah.
The puzzles seems pretty interesting. The story may be a little iffy for my taste, but that's probably because I didn't play the first two, so I don't know what the story is.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, let's see what else we got. We're getting closer to the end. Oh boy. Here we go.
Oh,
It's never going to recover. The franchise will never recover from this. It's not going to recover. Yeah, 3 never tanked the entire franchise. They literally had it in the back. Also, this trailer tells you literally nothing.
Okay. I guess that's how planets are born. Okay, so literally nothing.
Yep, literally nothing. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the moon from 2.5. And that's guys from the moon. Their now faces smoldering in the ground on Pandora, or
Yeah, I mean, could be.
I got nothing, but all I know is this franchise is screwed because they screwed it from 3 on. And 2.5 wasn't that fun, honestly. Like I never even finished it because it wasn't that fun. It wasn't the promise that 2 had. Like 1 was fun, but 2 was the best.
3 is mostly the writing, right? It's the typical modern speaking thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to refer to it otherwise.
DEI.
Yeah, but it's not really DEI. It's just like
Yeah, there was a ton of DEI in 3. The writing was atrocious on top of
you
that.
could say maybe Gen Z stuff. I don't know.
Gen Z bastardization of
Well, it's not Gen Z because they're not doing it. It's the one before.
Yeah.
It's like the trying to be the hello, how do you do, fellow kids attempts.
I'm a loser too, like you. This one's a little longer, so we'll probably skip through it a bit. But
okay, yeah, Life is Strange. I guess there's another one.
Max Caulfield, the girl who could rewind time, is back.
Let's thrash, Shocker Bra.
Yeah,
But when one of her new friends, Safi Llewellyn Fayyad, is murdered in the grounds of Caledon University, Max finds that her chaotic power has changed. Now, Max must shift back and forth to reveal the truth of her friend's murder in an attempt to save Safi before it's too late. Once Max's new power manifests, she can send a pulse out from her fingertips at any time. While Pulse is active, she can peer through to the other world, seeing the differences between the timelines clearly. People and objects in the other timeline appear as dimensional echoes, allowing Max to avoid watchful eyes when shifting.
Good thing I can keep an eye on Alderman from here. Wouldn't want to show up right in front of him.
What the hell?
While Pulse shimmers around her, she can also see places where the veil between the two timelines is at its thinnest. These shift points are where she can push through to the opposite timeline to help her investigation in a multitude of ways.
Oh,
You need me to hold something, or
actually, yeah. I need an Allen wrench.
got one around here?
No, I borrowed one from Carla, but I think she took it back. If you can go grab that from her, I'll owe you.
This could be to solve a puzzle, convince a character to reveal a secret, or retrieve an object lost in one timeline by borrowing it from another.
Better give this wrench to Moses.
Shift points work in both directions, so you can shift back and forth from the same spot.
So I found this guy named Alan, but he didn't know anything about a wrench.
No, Max, not literally Allen. It's... Oh. You are a lifesaver, Max. Dad joke aside.
I'll never apologize for my dad jokes.
If you're worried about losing track of which timeline you're in, well, Max herself may get confused too.
Have you talked to Reggie since yesterday? Reggie? Crap! Wrong Loretta, Max.
In the options, you can toggle a UI indicator every time you shift, confirming the reality you've just arrived.
You silly person.
How did I get 2 timelines totally mixed up?
Concept seems interesting so far.
Yeah, this is what, a third or something of this series? I don't know.
Honestly,
is probably the second one.
There are a whole bunch of them, so I don't know.
Oh, there are?
I thought so.
I didn't know
I've
that.
seen a million different versions, but maybe that's all in the same story. I don't know.
Ironically and surprisingly, I didn't hate the voice acting.
Yeah,
like it actually felt natural to it. But again, it's a Western-made game as opposed to an
I
Eastern
mean,
game.
time travel is always interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the whole taking the wrench from one to another is like great until that person in the other one is like, "Where'd my wrench go?"
Yeah.
This is like, okay, I feel like these time things would have damaging effects on pretty much everything. It's like the whole rule set from like Doctor Who. The reason he can't do certain things, but he can do others. Like,
yeah,
I don't
maybe
get it.
the wrench was important.
It didn't look horrible, but I think that the team making it had like Sweet Baby Inc. or something involved.
Possibly.
It wouldn't surprise me, but all in all, it didn't seem like a cardinal sin, at least the parts we watched. It seemed interesting, but also like a lot to keep track of. Maybe they have something in your like notebook or something that keeps track of that stuff. I don't know, but
who knows?
Here's one that you might find.
What a name!
I know, right?
This is like parkour.
Can you guess what it is?
Jumping game, platformer. With you're playing a dog. I don't know.
It does parkour.
Okay, this went a completely strange direction.
It's literally Inspector Gadget meets Assassin's Creed parkour. With
Okay.
good boy.
Damn.
I was just like, oh no, I haven't even seen that. That was my first time seeing that, but I was just like, parkour, it's gotta be freaking good. Like, oh my gosh, that just looks phenomenal. I'll probably play it just because it has doggies in it.
That's as good a reason as any, really.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy. But yeah,
that's certainly a game that exists.
I was like, this is great. I just saw it. I was like, that's not even one of the ones everyone's talking about, but I got to. All right. Now I gotta figure out how my computer works.
This thing of ours, it's a brotherhood. Treachery and deceit do not exist among us. Do you wish to commit yourself, your life, to this family?
Doesn't have a whole lot, but I think it's a prequel to the original Mafia.
Could be.
Because the way that everything was set up seemed to be a very, very specific one. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
intriguing, not intriguing.
Seems it could be interesting. It has my attention, but there's really nothing there.
Not yet. It's a teaser.
Yeah.
I like Mafia games. Kind of have to since I'm Sicilian, but
Yeah,
Matt would obviously probably agree because he's also Sicilian. But yeah, I like the old theme as opposed to some of the newer themes. I don't know. Did you ever play the Godfather game on like Xbox?
No.
That game was so much fun. I'm pretty sure I broke the disc. I played it so much. He's like, you're in, I think it's New York City. It might be Chicago. It's New York City, I think. And you literally just, no, it's based off of the movie. I don't remember many of the details of where it was.
I've seen the movie, but I didn't know there was a game about it.
Yeah, well, basically, you just like you have a storyline and everything, but you like go in and actually take over gang territory and whatnot. It's legit like fun. Like you can control like a whole swath of a city or the whole city or whatever, and you like drive-bys. You get people drive by on you. You set up extortion rackets, casino rackets, all that kind of stuff. It's legit like fun, but it's like a Grand Theft Auto kind of game. But like before, like what I would say a better version of Grand Theft Auto. Like it takes all the unnecessary stuff out of it and like puts in the fancy stuff. The cars are fun to drive. It's a classy time period. It's like 1950s, 1960s, something like that. And it's a nicer time period in my humble opinion. Actually, it might be older. It was like 1920s, 1930s, whatever the time period was. I don't remember what the time period is, but it was a blast to play. So always a big fan of that. So this one,
Dying Lights.
I have the first one. I've not seen this, so I don't know.
The tracks lead this way.
It's close. Stay here. Stand guard. On me. Bloody hell.
Contact!
Every man has an animal within. If you push too much, you might unleash the beast.
Now, are you familiar with the Dying Light series?
No.
Okay. So think zombies and parkour. That's pretty much the
yeah.
game.
It looked vaguely zombie apocalypse.
It was a fun game. I've had the first original Dying Light. There was some controversy back when the second one came out. I don't remember. I just never got into it. I think this one they're trying to imply that the guy can turn into a beast.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
I don't know why or how. So he must be like a escaped scientist project or something.
Some space magic or something. I don't know.
Yeah, space wizards for children, definitely for children. But yeah, it's not horrible. It's like at nighttime things get more difficult for obvious reasons. There's special Zeds or zombies, whatever you want to call them. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing in the world, but you could tell that the textures could have been improved.
I mean, it looked pretty generic zombie apocalypse at the end of the gameplay area.
So, is that something you
First-person
enjoy
shooter
playing
who
with the
can
first-person
throw
shooter?
knives, etc. That sort of stuff.
I didn't like when the guy's like, "Brr, brr, brr," and I'm like right at you, and nothing moved, nothing changed, and you're just like, you didn't take any damage from the guy point blank shooting you in the face. Like,
Apparently not.
press X to doubt, yeah.
Wait a minute. This doesn't look like.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Ta-da! Surprise, surprise! I already blew the spoiler. Whatever. You'll see in a second. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. Hit the wrong button. I don't want groundbreaking. I want accurate. Is it though? Is it?
Yeah.
Back if it's not accurate?
Wait a minute. I don't think so.
And I don't even blame the director. That's the funny part.
All Middle-earth knows the tale of the War of the Ring. But 200 years before that,
Riders of the Mark! Brothers of Rohan!
there was an older tale.
Arise!
Really?
Now they're just stealing Theoden's lines. It's just really...
There was an older tale before the War of the Ring. Who could have imagined? It's not like all of the history of the world happened
before. Yeah.
We come with an offer to strengthen Rohan.
Hera, daughter of Helm, I, Wolf, seek your hand in marriage.
Our fathers speak as if I were not even in the room.
Oh, I hate that line already. Okay, first off,
the Wolf never even got there to do the proposal. It was the father.
His dad is supposed to be super fat. That's not fat. That guy's large. He's big boned. He's not fat. He's supposed to be fat. But Hera wouldn't have a say. That's the whole point. It's a tribalistic people that are starting a new civilization, a new world. I didn't get to say in this, and they didn't even ask me for that. That's not what the whole issue of this starting isn't because of the rejection. It was because freaking Helm beat the guy to death.
Wow. Was
he
it on
accident? He hit him hard enough to kill him, but I don't think that
punched him once, and then he died.
To be fair, the guy was unhealthy as it was.
Fair enough.
I do not want to marry you.
You do not seek an alliance. You seek a throne. You will live to regret this, old man. He's dead. You will pay for this with your life.
Accurate. That's a surprise.
That's what?
It is somewhat accurate. That's a surprise.
Yeah, well, they played a little friendly with the flexibility of what you could do and not do, but still stay kind of on target. If only Wheel of Time was this kind of accurate.
If only.
Boy I knew would never wish for war.
The boy you knew is gone.
Fire! There's so many of them.
I don't feel like Wolf has the accent of like a Dunlending.
I'm not sure what they sound like, to be honest.
Well, he sounds like a British dude.
Okay, fair enough. But maybe Dunlendings are British.
No, they're like Wildmen.
They're
not like super crazy civilized and everything. Like they have civilization to some extent, yes, but they're not like they wouldn't have something probably like Edoras.
Fair.
I pledge to fight for my king.
You know nothing of war.
I'm the fastest riding.
Which is true. She knows nothing of lore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna go see her go to that stupid tribe of women, isn't it?
You have. People need hope, Hera. Something to believe in.
My pride, my joy. You could.
They put the Watcher of the Waters in this?
Apparently. Eagles
Why-
are in this as well. What?
Oh yeah, she can speak to eagles. Don't you remember we went over this? With Lady Balefire.
I may have purged any of this from my memory.
Okay, let me refresh you. She can speak to the eagles, and they'll do what she wants.
Okay.
Not Manway, what she wants. Even
Yeah.
Gandalf, as a Maya, has to ask for permission to get things. She's just like, I need this. And they're like, we got you, fam. We got you, girl. She also goes and
The
she
only
gets
thing I remember from the previous one is that there was supposed to be some sort of tribe of
all
ancient, forgotten Amazonian
Amazon
warriors.
female
Yeah.
warriors. Yeah. That obviously wouldn't be possible because they would die out in one generation.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
So we have all females and no males.
Yeah, that didn't look great.
It hurts. I hurt. She's a redhead in a blonde society.
Yeah.
A blonde and brown. I don't
Guess
understand.
it's illegal now. I don't know how that works, but
It is illegal. It's stupid.
What I missed?
The War of the Ring.
Yeah.
We're still going through it, but I'm pausing it because it hurts.
You think I am afraid of you?
You should. It's also fighting in a fucking dress.
Oh no.
This is bad. Fucking hell. Well,
Did she
there
stop
goes.
that guy's sword?
I think so.
She's the strong, independent.
Oh my god.
And she's like Eowyn, guys. Remember Eowyn? Remember Barry's? Remember that?
I don't know. Eowyn had her arms broken.
Yeah.
Well, yes. The thing is that this chick, they didn't even use like her name is not even like a name of the Rohirrim. For one,
She just made up a name.
No, they went for a Greek name.
Yeah, they picked a Greek name.
A Greek name?
Hera.
Yeah, instead of Northern European.
The goddess of family, etc. Marriage.
She's a redhead amongst blondes and brunettes.
Yeah.
What? So she's adopted.
Maybe, I guess.
Or something.
She's legitimately Helm's daughter. Funny story. Helm's daughter doesn't have a name.
Yeah, she was just a daughter, right?
She's mentioned like twice, and that's it. And now she's just like John Wick with a sword.
I heard there was something about where she's leading a all-female army.
Yeah, we haven't seen
that in it?
the trailer yet.
We haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
Probably gonna see that right now because they're gonna end that as the big reveal. That's their hidden ace of the whole army of the dead right there.
Oh, they're all gonna have a big flow, and they're all can't fight.
They're gonna be like these big buff hulky women. They'll be like, come to me if you want to live.
My.
Yeah,
maybe.
Dude.
Is that better than the fucking dress? But
What does Mordor want with rings?
What the heck?
They're trying to tie this in to the War of the Ring.
But that doesn't make any sense.
Who's that collecting it?
The rings.
We're gonna watch this a second time so he gets to feel the pleasure of pain and agony.
Yeah, okay, but let's first talk about the rings. The 9 are all with the Nazgul.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 are mostly lost to Dragonfire and other such stuff. I think at least 3 of them got eaten by dragons. Of course, one is with Thrall, who is currently maybe I don't know what he was doing 200 years ago. That one is with the Line of Durin. And then the 3 elven rings are all with the elves. The One Ring
That's
at
12
this
rings
point
accounted for.
is in a cave somewhere deep beneath the misty mountains.
Gollum, yeah.
With Gollum, yes.
Yeah,
Which
because
leaves
that was with him for 500 years.
500, I think, yeah. Which leaves only like 4 rings, 3 maximum, to be randomly found.
And not anywhere near these guys.
Not anywhere near this now. They were all with the dwarves.
So this is just complete fan fiction.
Yes.
Oh my
Weird.
gosh.
They have the general stuff, like the Battle of Helm's Deep, Helm Hammerhand having to like fall back, the Dunlending showing up to attack. Even the fight between Freka and Helm is somewhat there, but the books don't embellish like a whole fight. It's just literally he punches him and then Freka dies.
Yeah.
But Freka's supposed to be fat. They make him like muscular fat, which doesn't make any sense. You'll see.
Groundbreaking, really.
We're not really going back to the war.
All Middle-earth knows the tale of the War of the Ring.
Oh yeah, they brought Amanda Otto.
Oh yeah, Eowyn does the narration apparently.
Her role as
She's doing the narration,
which I don't mind if she's telling a tale of her people.
That's fine.
I don't
Yeah.
mind.
But the way this is,
she's a woman. She would know the stories.
The way this is phrased is really awkward.
She's a woman. She would know.
Yeah.
But 200 years before that,
Riders of the Mark! Brothers of Rohan!
there was an older tale.
Arise!
We come with an offer to strengthen Rohan.
Hera, daughter of Helm, I, Wolf, seek your hand in marriage.
Our fathers speak as if I were not even in the room.
I do not want to marry you.
You do not seek an alliance. You seek a throne. You will live to regret this, old man. He's dead. You will pay for this with your life.
What?
That one bit is the only bit that is vaguely correctly adapted. It's somewhat
Freka showing up would be accurate. Wolf wasn't there though.
Yeah, Wolf wasn't there, but the fight is the only thing that's actually taken from fight.
Yeah, we don't even see Helm. We barely see a bit of Helm's Deep. We don't see most of that, and that's like the big part is that they were there for like 20 years or something like that.
I think in the if you look in the appendices, this is like 2 pages, 3 maybe maximum.
They filled a lot in, and not for the better. Not like let's play it safe and assume that this plays out a specific way. They didn't do that. They just went like, well, we could throw this in there. We could throw this in there. We could throw this in there. Yeah.
The boy I knew would never wish for war.
The boy you knew is gone.
Fire! You hear that voice? It does not sound like a Dunlending. The boy you knew is gone.
There's so many of them. I pledged to fight for my king.
She doesn't fight. She literally disappears from the records after the whole wedding potential. That's literally it. Here we go.
Know nothing of war.
I'm the fastest rider you have.
That's because you're lighter than everybody else.
Yeah.
I can live with that. The rest, however, is a bit silly.
Yeah.
Now whatever this is Helm's Deep. Why is this here? I don't know. Because the Helms was not.
What is that?
You're about to find out. No. You're about to find out. You're about to find out. You're gonna find out.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
This never happened. Remember, Helm's Deep has never been breached prior to
right
growing up. It's a freaking siege bridge.
But why?
Because siege towers don't work, I guess. I don't know. Like literally, you just like, let's get the super huge tower, just drop it down, like.
And then you have to run across that massive bridge and hope you don't.
It's a choke point, basically.
Ironically, on the other side, you could just set on fire.
Yeah.
It would either crack and fall, or they'd literally get burned alive on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be like just a tunnel you can shoot them from.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they have in the early spaces, it's like a triangle that they can run through, and it blocks the arrows or something.
Well, if you kind of look down sights, maybe.
The second half doesn't have anything. Like, we'll go back just a smidgens.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's got like the side walls and stuff. He's jumping.
Yeah, but
on
you
it.
just the middle bit has to open because they have to go through there.
This
Why is there a guy right there?
Well,
He was probably sitting on top and then he died.
Like
That
a
was
berserker
off, I
type
don't
thing.
know.
He kind of guides it, make sure everything's good, and then he probably opens the door as he drops down. But he's probably one of the head warriors of their thing or whatever. But as you can see, you're gonna have basically side tunnel thing going on. You're not gonna have much else.
It doesn't even look like a movable thing, right? It's
they just stood there.
It looks like that thing was built on the spot there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There isn't any wheels or like
the trebuchet. I'd give him credit because the trebuchet would be a smart thing. I don't think there is trebuchets outside of Gondor, and maybe Mordor.
Maybe, don't know.
Like we never see, even in the movies, we don't ever see them outside of like Minas Tirith and aspects of Mordor, which probably would make sense to have them since they use siege engines. But
it would make sense that Rohan also has access to trebuchets.
I mean, it would make sense, but for
because
Horse
they
Lord,
work very closely with Gondor, or at least
they
they did in
move.
the past.
Well, I mean, they would be able to participate in battles with them, but they move way too fast for a trebuchet to keep up.
Oh yeah, sure, but like the local cities or whatever could have defenses.
I mean, Edoras is a wooden palisade city town.
Yeah, you can build a trebuchet there. That's no big deal.
I know, but a battering ram break through. Literally, a fire arrow will get you through the wall. Like, it doesn't take very much.
Yes.
Like,
They could have some at Helm's Deep.
have a rider drive by, or do like a drive by where he throws some oil onto the wall. You shoot it with a fire arrow from a range, and then
Yeah, that seems like a major security issue.
yes, that's my point. It's like a freaking trebuchet should be the last worry you have in a freaking city full of wood.
Sure. But you could build them in
Did you
Helm's
see
Deep.
that guy's body? Watch this guy's body.
he falls off, doesn't he? He's gone.
He's gone. That's funny.
People need hope here.
Actually, I like that.
Something to
It's nice
believe in.
Oh my god.
So she can talk to eagles, which
She's not gonna outrun that.
Well, no, she is. She's the fastest guy they know.
Outrun her.
Surprised.
But I
But I mean,
forgot the difference.
I think she has a good character design, just in the wrong.
Yes. Those are some nice thighs, yes.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
It's hard to argue. She's a cute.
They're gonna
character.
make her annoying though.
Well, yeah, we already know she's annoying from
Yep,
dialogue.
probably.
But she'd fit in virtually any other like isekai or fantasy based.
Mhm.
I don't think
Yeah,
anybody
she would fit in.
Nobody would blink an eye with her attitude, because there are those kind of characters with those attitudes, and then
Mhm.
they either get corrected, or they're like the tsundere or whatever. Like, then they'll realign.
Or
themselves with the story.
they're in a shonen where the characters have powers and stuff like that, which would make sense.
Yeah, and she could have attitude because she'd earn her attitude, but then she might get corrected by a main character or something. Like, there's a lot of ways you can do things, and it would not seem out of the ordinary. But because it's in a Lord of the Rings, quote unquote Lord of the Rings, it does not fit.
Yep.
With pride, my joy.
That is the Watcher of the Water from over by the
In front of
Durin
Gates to
and
Moria. Yeah.
But they're gonna say like, "Oh, well, it traveled down the water. It was
Sure.
in a lake, wasn't it?" But yeah, that's Watcher in the Water eating a Muma kill, which I think a Muma kill would be bigger than that, and it would be very difficult for the Watcher of the Water to pick up.
Well, I mean,
Muma
it's
kill
never really. No, I get that, but it's never really mentioned how big the Watcher in the Water is. We just know from the movies that it
was of a
depicted
small
as
enough
getting
size for them to potentially get Frodo off of his grasp.
Yeah.
Sure, but that could also be because
if he was super big, arrows weren't going to cut it. He'd just get pissed off because it's like a kraken essentially.
Yeah, but krakens are big.
Yes, really big. But I'm saying like if you have
This one's really big.
If you have a thick enough tentacle, it's going to have some fat to prevent an arrow from doing too much damage, and you would assume its hide.
Arrows, sure.
So it's not going to be arrows. It'd have to be a sword or an axe, but you have to get really close to it. And if it's flailing about like this, good luck hitting it. And if it grabs Frodo and it just goes like this, well, he's game over.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
He has to get pulled up in the air and like wave around a little bit, and then his mouth comes up, and then he comes and eats him or something. That makes sense. But cutting through with a sword would be very difficult if it was that massive. So it's assumed
Maybe this is just a baby elephant.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't think they use baby elephants in war, but okay.
You could rule the world.
Yes, because she's a strong female independent character.
She's climbing up by herself. Oh my gosh. Is this taking inspiration from Rings of Power?
I think so.
Yeah.
You think I am afraid of you?
She's in a wedding dress for that. That's the funny part.
That's oh my god.
You should be.
I gotta
Even
say
has the little thing on the arm still there. Oh my god.
I gotta
say this shot.
This is where you picked up. Where you got here.
This shot that they're doing. This reminds me of like whenever Galadriel did that whole came down and then the swing up on the horse. Remember?
Yeah.
That ridiculous like explosion of that orc where she makes no contact.
Yeah, my thing is so far, if you've noticed, the mouths to the voices don't match.
Probably different language or something, or they're not mapping it well.
It's written originally in English.
Oh,
just like Lord of the Rings.
That's not good.
I
ignore it usually in anime with dubs because then obviously it's going to not fit.
Yeah, dubs are always bad.
Yes.
But the thing is in this situation, it's a Western story being animated in Eastern, aka Japanese. But I would expect it to be more like a Studio Ghibli quality than because Studio Ghibli is kind of like wishy-washy on the dubs. Like they could be really good in English, they could be better in Japanese or whatever. But if their timing for the mouths and the voices aren't lining up, it's going to distract people so freaking hard.
Yeah,
people like me who have like attention, just like we pay attention to that kind of detail, and it's miserable.
What does Mordor want with rings?
How many were there?
Rot the orc. There's a lot.
What the heck?
It's
And
just
one has a little red gem.
I think what's going on, you can quote me on this. They're going through because they're helping the Dunlendings, like Wolf and his guys, the Mordor and the Haradrim.
Maybe they're just gathering all the rings that exist.
Yes, they're gathering all
the rings that they accidentally come across the one.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember at the beginning, Helm pulled off his ring, right? He pulled off a signet ring.
Sure.
Maybe they're trying to collect that in case, like, to confirm Helm's dead or something. There could be a lot of different things, but I think when it says this,
it sounds like
the character's name is Rot. It says it right there in the subs.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Rot.
So Rot is presumably a orc. Maybe an orc guy, but he's at least an orc, not a goblin.
Are
And
urukais, have urukais been spawned at this point?
Urukais have existed. They're like men bred with orcs.
Okay.
And they're supposed to be sturdier, and they do exist before the War of the Power. It's just Isengard basically just made just Uruks. Orcs would have been their workers. Uruks were their main force. Which is the smarter way to do it, honestly, because you want the stronger, bigger, better, faster, the guys who don't need to worry about sunlight.
Well, no, see, there is a slight difference between Saruman's and Mordor's Uruks.
Probably has a little bit of difference, yeah. But I'm saying just from Orc to Uruk is already a difference.
Yeah, but Uruk-hai is just the elite warriors, right? And then Saruman made
I don't know if they're just elite warriors, but they are elite warriors. Yes, they are better than orcs. Orcs are just easier to produce. That's why Mordor has tens of thousands of them. But I'm betting that Sauron's looking for the One Ring, and so anytime his orcs go into conflict, that they're trying to show it like the orcs are searching for the One Ring, because they're trying to tie it in. They're trying to tie it in to War of the Ring. And this is what they would do, is they would go in, they'd fight somebody, then they'd go through and loot all of it and say, what does Mordor want with these rings? Well, why is this guy asking that question except for an exposition dump? Because
makes sense.
He would know, because everybody would be doing it all the time in every battle ever since he started looking for the ring. And it's not like somebody's gonna be going, it's not for you to question the Dark Lord or something stupid like that. Like, sorry, my water. I need water for that to pull off. But
also, is Sauron actually looking for the ring already 200 years ago?
Well, remember, this is 200 years before the War of the Ring. Gollum had it for 300 years prior to this.
Yeah.
And what was it? 2,500 years? It's
Sauron,
till it was found by Gollum.
At this point, was in the Dark Forest area.
Dol
Yeah. Well, is it
Southern Mirkwood? Yeah, Dol Guldur was the forest. Yeah.
He was still recovering, right?
Huh?
He was still recovering from being like separated from his body, right?
Yes.
So would he?
I don't know what age he went to Dol Guldur, though. I don't know what age
he already be looking for the ring.
Off the top of my head, well, yes, but it doesn't say that he hasn't been.
Yeah, okay, but sure. But does he also already have command over the orcs at that point?
As far as I'm aware, he always has control of the orcs, as long as he's alive.
Yeah, but he's sort of not really alive right now.
Well, he would still have commanders and stuff. I don't know why the Nazgul vanished. That's the weird part. I think the Witch King being active is like the only sense we get of the Nazgul. You think that the other 8 ring wraiths would have gone and helped Witch King actually build his empire, because he's the head of them.
Yeah.
And they're trying to wipe out the good guys, and they're trying to establish a place as an ally to what eventually becomes the Mordor capital, Barad-dûr. So, I mean, they kind of just vanish, and all we get is the Witch King of Angmar making Angmar great again, or whatever. So, yeah. And I was stoked when I first heard about this, and now I cringe.
Yeah, same.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure this is probably gonna come up during FNT tomorrow.
Possibly.
Yeah.
A couple hours before we started. Probably
He's gonna talk about this. Oh man.
Maybe. I would hope so. But yeah, I have no idea what they're trying to do from this perspective.
I mean, you saw one part where she like moves aside and then cuts the guy. I can imagine a woman doing that a lot more, but then she starts holding the attack down, blocking with the shield and stuff. I think they didn't even do a joust type of thing.
Reflecting, like rearranging where they're going, which is what you do if you were
Yeah.
small. She's like blocking, and
Yeah.
she does not have that mass to be able to take just like a barbarian walking up and thumping. Because that thump,
And she's in a dress doing it. Like, oh my god.
Somehow, it makes it even worse than it already is. I didn't know that was possible, but apparently.
hey, if Guy Ladriel can do it in a dress, then anybody can do it in a dress. Don't you know that the most athletic elf to probably ever exist that wins competitions and games and stuff, you know, that mystical, magical, thousands and thousands of year old elf is basically on par with this redhead 20-something-year-old, maybe not even 20-something-year-old, redhead Rohirrim girl that's gonna die before she's 40. You know, like,
yeah, that makes the perfect sense.
That has like elf. I would expect
Also,
to have a greater strength ability than a human. She's pulling off some stuff that Guy Ladriel probably couldn't pull off. Oh, freaking no.
Maybe.
I'm depressed.
We haven't seen season 2 yet, so.
Yeah, that's coming up, and I'm not looking forward to it.
This is on Amazon?
Warner Bros.
Warner Bros?
I think it's not going to be on Netflix, but I'm not sure.
I don't know what it's going to be on. I don't actually think I've heard it be announced on what it's being released on. I'd assume probably Netflix.
Probably. Oh, it would have been so funny. It would have been so funny if they tried putting this out in theaters.
Actually, no, it might come to theaters. I think this is coming to theaters.
It might.
I think this is coming to theaters.
Oh my god!
Sure. It's a full-blown movie. And
oh no! Wait, it says it's in the local cinema as well. Fuck.
Yep.
Oh.
It's theaters. This is gonna bomb because all the Lord of the Rings fans are gonna be pissed.
Yes, and that's the only crowd for this.
Well, yeah, this isn't for the wine moms.
Well, they might have intended to draw in the new modern audience, but I don't think
that's not going to work.
They might get the Rings of Power audience, maybe. But
what audience?
Well, the ones that were there that left, because the people who gave it a shot, they might get that group. It's the same thing for like the Acolyte, where the Acolyte they're like, we want to bring it back. You're all bigots and you hate women and blah 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 blah. All that, like they're eating their own kind of a thing. They didn't show up to their own projects that they wanted to support. So
yeah,
they are obviously not as big and as great and as monstrous of a group as they think they are, and everybody else is, because that whole thing got nuked.
Or the thing is, they don't really care about this. They don't really care about these franchises. They just want to show face.
They'll care about Hera, but they won't care about anything else. Nothing else matters. Hera's just the Snow White princess for Middle Earth, is what she is, because she can talk to the eagles. She finds her little dwarven colony of Amazonian women. She's going to mine literally.
Why are they dwarves all of a sudden?
I'm trying to make a comparison to Snow White.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
She's got the birds.
It's maybe not the greatest attempt at an analogy for a world where dwarves actually also exist.
Mulan at least knows how to fight.
True.
In a smart way, yeah. She doesn't try to get physical.
If you can't fight with strength, fight with dexterity. That's how you do it.
Yep.
And I would argue, fight with dexterity anyway, because you'll be faster than the guy with strength.
Yeah.
That's why finesse weapons are superior.
Well, I'm not so sure.
I like big choppers.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree there.
Bunch of losers. Anyway,
I guess.
But yeah,
go for a full strength build in Dark Souls.
There's going to be a decent opening, but people are going to be like, they might think it's it's an entertaining movie, it's fun, whatever. But anybody whoever cares about the actual lore, like, keep in mind, Wizards of the Coast, when they released the Beyond Middle Earth or the Beyond Universe Middle Earth, it's the second highest selling of all the sets in history of Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering. They could have been the highest by far if they didn't screw everything up with the race swapping and all that jazz. Like,
yeah,
they just stuck to the lore. They didn't give the artists the choice. They just said, you're going to write you're going to draw what we want you to draw. That's that. If they did that, that thing would have sold like hotcakes. But no,
Yep.
the artists wanted to be activists, and by being activists, they ruined it. I wanted to buy a full playset of every single card. I didn't buy a single one. So they lost out on my money. I lost out on a fun adaptation of Middle-earth to this. It's one of those things that, like the Wheel of Time. Like, Wheel of Time TV show screwed up. When do you think we're going to get another rendition of it?
Probably not in my
15
lifetime.
years, probably the soonest. And even on that, who says it's not going to be a horrific experience again? Because the executives are not intelligent. You hear that, executives? You are dumb. Like, seriously stupid. Because all you care about is making the bottom dollar line money, but you don't care about it being made, which is weird. Like, you care about it being made, but you don't care about it being made because you don't look at it and say, I want this to make me the most money possible. I'm going to have so much research done on what is popular about this. Is it popular because the story is really good? Sure. Then you go follow that storyline. You're going to follow it to a T. You're going to make that monies because that's what people want. Nobody's going to come out. If you come out making Wheel of Time or Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power or whatever, if you made it accurate to the actual lore, no one, and I repeat, no one is going to come out and say, oh man, they did a faithful adaptation. I'm so upset. No, they won't do that. They might come and say, why are there no gay people? Why are there no black people? Why are there no... They might do that.
I think the people that say that would also say, oh no, why did they do a faithful adaptation?
Maybe, but again, small minority of people. They cry really loud. They always claim that we cry really loud. It's like, I wish we cried loud enough to crush these companies, but I kid you not. If you literally just did it the right, smart way, like, hire me, I will come in there and I will fix your crap for you. It'll be so freaking easy. You can hire a freaking blind beggar that's dumb. They'd do a better job. But
well, we don't cry. We just don't look or interact with it.
We do make, we make plenty of noise for Wheel of Time, and I made plenty of suicide noises when it came to Rings of Power, but
that's not good.
It was bad. I almost didn't make.
But like, why did these fail? They failed because we didn't watch them. Regular people didn't watch them.
Well, we did because we covered it.
Well, yeah. But you told other people why not to watch them.
Well, yeah, we reviewed it and said, yeah, you're probably not going to like this. There's a reason Rings of Power by itself dropped, what, 73%?
67% or something.
Yeah, 67%, somewhere in that range, all on its own. They lost money doing that. And they're like, let's do a second season. And then they're like, this is looking to be even worse than the first season, if that's possible.
But they said they were going to do a more accurate season. I don't
They
know.
couldn't even figure out that one of the greatest, if not the greatest smith in the world, aside of Aule, didn't know what alloys were.
Well,
so we're gonna have a Sauron being like Walter White.
Celebrimbor is the greatest, right? There's at least a few people above him.
Well, I'm saying Aule, the actual Valar, but outside of Crash, he's Feanor's grandson? Grandson?
I think it's a bit further down the line, but
either way, he's of Feanor's.
Yeah, he's related, sure.
And he's the renowned one in Middle Earth. So, I mean, you think
only because he's like the only one alive, right?
Any of the Elven Smiths should know what an alloy is. It's not the first.
Oh, yeah, sure. Alloys are not a difficult concept at all.
Apparently they are. And also, artisan elves are supposed to be great artisans. They made those rings look like a freaking box you get out of a box of cereal ring that was not even finished. It was like half painted, like on a Warhammer figurine. Like it looked horrible.
And aren't they supposed to be all having the same color, or were they described as being gold or silver?
Okay. Adriel's is like a pure white, crystallized white. The fire one that what's his name that gives it to Gandalf? His is red.
Círdan.
Círdan, yeah. Círdan's was red, and then
well, no, it's called the Red Ring because it has a ruby in it, but the metal itself is
well, I know, but we're talking about
metalish.
the color of the gem, not the color of the band.
Okay, fair enough.
You just started randomly going to the band. I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about. It's called red because of the ruby. You don't say. What color is rubies? Red.
Yeah. But the ring itself is not entirely red.
Well, no, that it doesn't. The ring itself can be gold, it can be silver, it can be platinum, it can be whatever. It doesn't that part doesn't matter. The fact is, it doesn't look like a craftsman made it. No craftsman would make that and say, "Yeah, this is my finest work."
Yeah, no, I'm looking at an image right now, and no, definitely no.
I think if you went to a kid's store like Claire's, which is a little girl's store, they have like cosmetics, like rings, earrings, and all that stuff. This looks like one of those cosmetic rings that they would use, and like
that's fair.
Like kids,
I'm looking at the image as I said, and holy shit, it looks bad, much worse than I.
Well, yeah, they just look way too bulky.
If you go to my videos, one of them I did a review of it with my best friend who's a jeweler, and I had him look at it, and yeah, we both agreed it was awful. Like they didn't even cut the gems; they literally just sat them down. I'm like, first off, that wouldn't reflect light or anything. It would just be blocking everything because it hasn't been actually polished, it hasn't been cut, so the prisms wouldn't go anywhere because they'd be bouncing around back and forth into each other and just be a giant mess. But like, it doesn't look good in any shape or form. They didn't cut it anyway, which they could have.
Well, they're not artisans, so
no, elves are artisans. So that's the part that's the stupid part.
That's what the writers would say.
Yeah, that is what they would say. But either way, yeah. So I'm gonna have a bad night. I mean, I'm having a bad month anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just throw this on top. Why not? And I was looking forward to an anime based off of Lord of the Rings. That could have been huge, but they should have gone more of the Vinland Saga and less of the westernized look, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, because that's basically what they did with Castlevania and like the Western animes, and that's a warning.
That's not a warning. It's just it feels
sometimes
it feels more like motion block movements when they do things. It doesn't look like they're actually showing a fluidity. And anime, like modern anime, is known for fluidity.
Well, the thing is, it's kind of lazy because that's multiple different animes looking the same.
The fluidity of combat and everything is just smooth as butter.
That depends on which anime you're looking at.
Well, I'm talking like the major, like big hyped ones. Like
yeah, sure. Those are the minority.
Like, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, Vinland Saga's a pretty smooth flowing one. A lot of the new guys that are like the big popular, like Solo Leveling, smooth. Reincarnated as Islam, smooth. There's a good chunk of just smooth anime.
Sure, but they're still the minority.
Yes, but they're the higher production. This is a Lord of the Rings production. This should be high quality.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, my gosh, the animation is going to be cheaper than freaking building the actual props.
You should have done it with a different style, not this one.
But even if I got stuck with this, if they at least stuck to the actual story and kept things lore accurate,
then it would have been fine. Yeah,
I would have been okay with it, even if it's a lower quality animation. But now it's like, well, now you got the worst of all the worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Anything you guys have to say before we call it night? Don't talk
really.
all now. Okay, not really. What do you got, Sage?
It just looks bad.
Besides the obvious.
I'm not sure what else to say there, really.
Yeah.
Well, what other games did y'all see whenever I left?
All right, let me pull it up. We went over Dying Light the Beast, Mafia
Yeah.
the Old Country,
Mhm.
Barcour. That was a good one.
That was fun. Yeah.
Life is Strange Double Exposure.
Strangely,
Oh my
could
god.
be interesting.
Borderlands 4. Little Nightmares.
I'm a fan of Borderlands. That is such a.
Borderlands is dead as of 3. 2.5 was on the teeter tot, and then 3 just killed it.
And also, we only
I-
saw a cinematic of a moon sort of.
Yeah,
popping out
I've
of
seen that.
nowhere.
It's so weird.
It's like 59 seconds or something like that. Little Nightmares 3, which is kind of intriguing, but also
Looked
immersive
looked
breaking.
interesting, but not my type of game.
Infinity Mickey, which is the Pokemon one.
Yeah,
we won't
he
call.
was there.
Fable, Enzoi, Civ 7, which I don't know if you were here for. You were
Yeah.
here for Come Deliverance. You were here for Monster Hunter, Dune, Indiana Jones, those ones, and then first Berserker. So yeah. There is a War of the Rohirrim official trailer breakdown by Nerd of the Rings, released 39 minutes ago.
Oh no.
He's a shill.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
He's
That's
the
a
one
shame.
who did. He's the one who did the interview with Philippa Boyens.
Who? No, I know that's someone involved. It was on there.
She's the one who worked with Fran Walsh and Peter Jackson on the Lord of the Rings movies, the trilogies, which should have instilled me with hope.
Wasn't he the one that got fired?
No.
Oh, he wasn't the one that was removed from the project.
No. Philippa Boyens is a woman.
Oh.
Yeah, of course. Did you see the trailer?
Philippa Boyens.
No.
Yeah, the trailer. What having to do with the trailer? But the interview, she like the first part of it was okay. It was mediocre, and then she gets to the second, like late third half, or last third, and then she starts talking about, well, we wanted a woman's perspective, and we wanted the agenda, and it's just like that's a warning sign, guys. That's not going to bring people in. That's going to make them upset because you're not cohering to it.
You know who could probably do stories from a woman's perspective? The people that they don't like.
Well, they have like gay people working on the storyboard and the writing room and everything. And it's like, I don't care if they're gay. I don't care if they're trans.
Do they have good history?
No, but see, if they wanted
story the
woman's
way
perspective, go for one of the stories that actually, but they don't have the rights, maybe, so that could be interesting.
The War of the Rohirrim is only so many pages, remember?
Yeah.
They have rights to all of that. It's Warner Bros. Has like everything.
No, but I was thinking, so if you want to do one such story, go for one where there's actually a character that is a woman that does stuff, right?
Character that is a woman that does stuff. You make it
I mean,
is there one like that?
There are a few that exist. They're all in the Silmarillion, so you don't really can do
That's
them.
what they're trying to do. They're trying to do the
Yeah.
So they're basically saying this is how it should have gone if Eowyn was the leader. That's what they're basically trying to say.
Basically, if Eowyn had led the charge instead of Theoden, she would have slaughtered the Witch King of Angmar and its fell beast without any injuries, and she would have kept her uncle alive, and he would have handed her the crown to Rohan because she's just so glorious and so amazing and so.
No, he would have died, and then she inherited rather than Eomer.
No, because you have to humiliate him. So you'd have to have him go, "Oh,
Yeah.
my niece, you are the greatest of all."
I never should have underestimated you. Thank you.
After that, he also has to
You
die.
have won this day, huh?
After that, he also likely has to die.
Yeah, well, that's when like the Witch King comes down and he drops his mace and it hits,
Mhm, yeah.
and after he kills the Witch King, and because her horse would sprout wings and become a Pegasus, and they would fight the fell beast in the air, and then when she stabs the Witch King in the face and beheads him, his mace would drop, and that's what crushes Theoden, and thus the end of Theoden.
And it's whoops. They make a joke out of it.
Yeah. But
What can you do?
one of the main characters you could probably do this for, well, I'll do this for put a story from a woman's perspective is Luthien to Nuviel.
Well, she
who-
doesn't wield a sword or anything. She just kind of is there.
No, but she does like magic stuff. So
Yeah, but we
That
can't
would be
do
cool.
and
that
she is
because
involved
anybody
in
can magic.
fighting against Morgoth, sort of,
And some other things like
and some
Sauron.
other things like Sauron. Yes, but see,
That's not as exciting as a bunch of random Vikings in the middle of nowhere.
that's an actual story that exists in the
they would butcher
universe.
that so horribly.
Sure, they would, but that's at least one they could go for and reasonably say, "Oh, we're going to tell this story from Luthien's perspective." It would work probably if you had also a talented, set of writers.
I don't believe
Yeah, but they don't.
They don't, so it's going to be shit anyway.
If you want to go look up Nerd of the Rings' video interview with Philippa Boyens and her crews, they bring her crew in at the very end or near the end, and just you can watch it. It's like an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes or something like that. But they go over a whole bunch of stuff, and the first part doesn't seem that bad, and then she starts mentioning certain things, and it's not a pleasant thing. And it went south really hardcore after that. So Nerd of the Rings is a shill. It's already been confirmed. The OneRing.net shill confirmed.
Yeah.
Prancing Pony Podcast shill confirmed.
Wasn't there a point where they started to turn real quick? It was towards the end of the season, right?
On Rings of Power, yes, not on this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, we'll probably go ahead and call that there. So, gents, would you like to say your goodbyes?
No.
I close this out? I didn't think so.
Yeah, I guess, it's been fun. This night was a little, entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
A little more chaotic than expected. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm assuming neither of you have anything coming up since you are the two that do not have channels.
Yep. Nothing going on.
I just got life coming up. That's it.
Same.
So last year. But yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the trailers and the commentary, and unfortunately that last trailer really left a sour taste in my mouth, so I'm going to go wash it out with some actual food since I haven't eaten over 5 hours. So, yeah.
Watch something actually good.
Well, I probably won't be watching. I'll probably be playing a game, though. And
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for hanging out. If you wouldn't mind sharing the video with anybody, I know it was a little longer because we went through so many trailers and we talked a lot and got off topic all the time, like we usually do, which is part of our charm. So, yeah, if you could share it, like it, if you like the video, comment down below your thoughts on either any of the trailers you think were good, anything you think were bad, or anything that you have to say about the War of the Rohirrim trailer. Let us know, because I really am interested in your thoughts, because I am cringing on the inside so hard I could die. So, but yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. We'll have another video coming up whenever we make it, as per normal. So, thanks everybody for hanging out. Remember, my friends, walk in the light.
Farewell.
Bye.